Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm happy that you're here. Let me know that you can hear me, please, or if I'm too loud or if anything's happening. But hi. Hi, curated vibes. Of course, people get mad because they have invested money, time, and energy into obtaining degrees, working their way up to the corporate ladder, promoting brands, and now they can't stop. Hey, maybe. Hi, Belinda. Welcome. Okay. Yes, please let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me, if everything's going going okay. So at this point, I don't even know how old this video is. Okay. Hi. Hi, Maya. Welcome. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Jamile. Thank you. All right. So I put out a video at this point, I don't even know. Maybe like at the beginning of the month, and it was called I Gave Up on Black Excellence, right? And I put out the video. I was hoping people would watch it, consider it, talk about it, either with people or themselves, right? Just like self-reflection, all that good stuff. And it picked up a lot of traction. A lot of traction. Hi, welcome. Welcome. NY Ozeki. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But hi, welcome, welcome. Hi, mommy. Hi, Melodies from Heaven. Welcome. Yes, so I put out the video. Excuse me, y'all. I put out the video and, well, first let me say hi to everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi, that lovely lady. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Thrifty Simplicity. Welcome. Yes. Hi, everybody. Yes, please talk amongst yourselves. I love seeing you all interact in the chat. So, yeah, so I put out the video and it started getting a little traction, right? People started like watching it, commenting on it. And for the most part, people were understanding of where I was coming from. People understood my perspective. They understood what I was trying to convey, which was the overall message was to love yourself and love everybody else. That's literally all the video is about. And while I talk about my own personal perspectives and my opinions and my experiences, some people were triggered. Some people were very, very triggered from by my video, excuse me. Hi, Crystal. Welcome. Is that Bubbles? I like that. The threes. That's cool. Hi. Welcome. Hi, Crystal. Yay. Wingwell 500. It's always good to see you. Welcome. Welcome. Yes. Hi there, all beautiful people. Awesome. Hi. Hi, Ray. I hope I'm saying that right. But yeah, so it started getting traction. Someone made a reaction video to the video I made. Hi. Welcome. Somebody made a reaction video to the video I made. I did not watch it because mental health. Okay. Mental health. I don't want to be, I have enough voices living in my head. I don't want another voice living in my head criticizing me just because based on the beginning of the video that I saw, he was labeling me black pill. I have no idea what that means, by the way, but black pill. And as soon as he started like labeling me those things, I said, this is probably not going to be a productive conversation. And I exit out, right? Because I don't want to waste my time or energy thinking about things that don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Because what I do with my life is my decision and my choice, but people got really offended by that. Yeah, I didn't watch it. I couldn't like, and I sent it to one of my friends. I don't even know if he watched it, but I was just like, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not doing this. So anyway, because everybody has a lot of assumptions, let me just get into it. So basically, I don't have any prepared like dissertation or like cited sources. I have thoughts. A lot of times I come here, I have thoughts. Sometimes I have cited resources and stuff like that. But because I'm talking about my life, it's just opinions and my thoughts, right? And I have responses to some things that people brought up in these conversations, things I never said, things I never alluded to, right? And what I realized throughout this whole ordeal is that people project what they think, people project their reality on you, right? Because I had a lot of people commenting about communism and socialism and all these different things that I never said was the answer. I never brought up any of that stuff, right? So I'm understanding more about people based on my interactions with them online, right? Oh, wow. Hi, Jay Bliss. Welcome. Welcome. Y'all, she's an awesome guitarist. Please hit her up if you're interested in learning guitar. She's amazing. But yes, hi, welcome. I'm glad that you caught it live too. Welcome. Hi, Auntie Lou. Hey, I see the wine. Yeah, I wouldn't have watched it, no. Hi, Barbara. Welcome. The video got 65K viewers, so I knew there was going to be some pushback. Absolutely. So I was not really prepared mentally for it to hit 65,000 views. Simply because when people come trolls come, right? And so I had to do a lot of blocking. There was a lot of name calling, a lot of calling me the B word or masculine or the man, or making assumptions about my marital status, or making assumptions about my whether I'm housed or unhoused. A lot of projections, right, based on people's opinions and their own limitations and their own fears, their own bondages at the end of the day, right? And so, but I don't have to interact with nor respond to people who really just wish me, who don't wish me well. A lot of people responded, and they responded to, they watched to respond, but not really to understand, right? They watch to react, right? And I don't have time for people like that. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Mental health over everything, okay? Hey, welcome. Absolutely, yes. People talking bad about you is a sign that your channel is doing well. I hate that that's a sign. I hate that. But, you know, because the thing is, I am very sensitive, okay? I am not ashamed to say I am a sensitive soul, okay? You can blow in my direction. I'll be like, oh. But you know, but to protect my peace, I had to delete comments or not read them at all, or again, not watch reaction videos, because it's frustrating when people are misrepresenting you or misunderstanding you on purpose, and then misrepresenting you, and you don't have really, I don't have the energy to go back and forth with hundreds of people online defending my stance. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have that energy. My energy is sacred. Shout out to Erica De Niro TV, by the way. I'm making a video called Protect Your Energy. Shout out to her. Because yes, protect your energy. These trolls literally want to kill you. Like, they want to suck your soul, destroy you. These are people who are fueled by the destruction and low self-esteem and pain of other people. And I realize that not everybody is worth your energy or your time. It's just not. Like, in good faith, I try to react to people and try to respond, because some people just don't understand, right? Some people really are seeking clarity and understanding, and I'm open for dialogue and a discussion, but some people are like baiting you out here so they can destroy you. And pearls before swine, right? Like, if you know that what you're saying is coming from a good place, an authentic place, everybody's not going to appreciate it nor value it, but it's up to you to value yourself. It's up to you to value your own pearls, right? So even if you don't want to engage, and I thought about like not deleting comments, because I was like, does that make me weak? Does that mean that I can't take criticism? And it's like, no, I can take constructive criticism. I can take constructive criticism very well, but the destructive criticism, the mean things, I do not have to entertain, and I don't have to keep it on my channel. That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of this YouTube thing. Whatever I want to exist on my platform, I choose what exists and what doesn't. You see what I'm saying? So I don't have to give you room or space. You don't deserve room or space to be disrespectful, to talk down on me, to call me out my name, even to talk down on people who are unhoused. Like, the irony, and again, I'm going to get to my notes in a second, y'all, but I'm just ranting for a minute. Like, but the irony of people basically telling me, assuming that I am unhoused, right? That somehow I don't have a home to live in, that makes me less legitimate, that makes me less valuable. And that proves my point. Like, it's so crazy. People are in the comments saying all these rude and obnoxious things, and the whole time you're supporting my argument. And you're like, your elitism, your classism, your texturism, your whatever ism is showing. And a lot of men that have commented on my videos have been very sexist, by the way, misogynoirist, I should say. Comments about women being overweight and not being married, as if somehow marrying a man alleviates all stress and drama from your life. That's not how this works. Like, so anyway, let me just get back to saying hi to y'all, and then we're gonna get into the conversation. Yeah, people were upset. Okay, I believe you were attacked on this particular issue because you're encouraging Black folks to unplug from the matrix and get off this capitalist treadmill. For sure. People can never hear out others' ideas. Oh, my mic is loud. Sorry, y'all. Sorry, hold on. Let me turn down my mic. Thanks, Jamile. I hope that's better. Is it less shrill, less sharp? I hope so. Okay. All right. People can never hear out others' ideas and perspectives, yet they cry wolf when they want someone to hear them out. Exactly. Like, somebody told me basically that because I'm online, I have to entertain him. No, I don't. I really don't. Because you didn't do the work of entertaining what I actually said in the first place, right? Like, I don't owe you anything. I'm highly sensitive too. Comments hurts. Absolutely. When people say sticks and stones may break your bones, but words may never hurt you, that is a lie. That's a lie. Words hurt. They hurt. Okay. Hey, Nola Shawty. I'm sure there's an accent there that I'm missing, but hey, welcome, welcome. Yes. The pushback comes from the folks that use Black excellence as a cover for assimilation into whiteness. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about that. Most people choose to be obtuse. Yes. And that's so unfortunate. It really is. It really is. And a lot of people can't understand nuance, and they can't understand that two things can be true at the same time. Me and my friend Marcus were talking about this last night. Two things can be true at the same time. I have to participate in capitalism and I hate it. The end, right? Like, anyway, but yes, trolls are annoying. They are. Energy vampires, absolutely. Half these people don't like themselves. We're going to get to that too, and I agree. I agree. People you will never meet in a day in your life, not worth reading a comment. Absolutely. And the thing is, people leave comments that they would never say to someone to their face. A lot of people are keyboard warriors. They are cowards. I stand 10 toes down on what I say, what I mean, right? But a lot of people, if I met them in real life, would not have the gall to say half the stuff they say to me, right? So yeah, don't take the bait. Absolutely not. We love you and like that you focus on what's really important. Protecting your energy is a real thing. It is. Thank you so much for sharing that too. I'm just talking about this with a mentor yesterday. Everyone just wants to talk and don't listen, okay? And know how to listen to understand that part. Because the thing is, you can disagree with me. I am me. I have my own limited perspectives, my own limited understanding, limited knowledge and wisdom, right? Resources. It would be helpful for me to listen to other people's perspectives because maybe I can learn something. Maybe I can challenge some beliefs, right? And maybe even my beliefs being challenged doesn't mean I have to change them. It just means that I'm taking in new information. Like, why are people so opposed to this? It's so sad to me. Girl, you did right. Ignore the trolls. Absolutely. Don't feed them, girl. Don't feed the trolls. Oh, thank you, that lovely lady. That's sweet. They are miserable and think that trying to pull people down will pull them up. We're going to talk about that too, because yes. You're not weak. Oh, thank you. It is abuse. It's verbal abuse. Thank you, dark skinned woman. Thank you. And I know that sounds dramatic, right? But it's true. It's true. Okay. So I'm going to start my talk because if I keep reading comments, we're gonna keep talking. Yeah, it's things that success in the society will attract those who wish to tear you down. But you're right. You don't have to entertain it. You don't. I'm free. I don't have to watch, read, look at nothing. I don't want to. Delete. I have been deleting comments for the past 2 weeks like crazy. Delete. I'll start reading it to see like what the person is trying to say. But when I see something like 90% of Black women are overweight, delete. When I see you're just a loser and you want delete, you're just mad because you're poor, delete. Like, it's just, I ain't got time. I don't have time. Yeah, I do. And also, one of the other reasons why I delete those messages is because I don't want other people to see that and think anything negative about themselves. Because while they are directing it to me, when you're talking down on people who are poor or people who are unhoused or talking down on people who may feel like a failure, right? They're like, oh, well, if she believes this about, if this person believes this about her, then what would they think about me? I don't want my space, my channel to be a place where people come and be re-traumatized. I don't want that. My goal for my channel is to remind people that they are loved, that they matter, that they're important. That's it, right? In everything I do, every video I make, every song I sing, right? Like sometimes I sing just because it's fun, you know what I mean? But like, and I talk about things that are fun too, but I don't want people to come here and I don't want negativity to be like infiltrating my channel. No. So you got to go. You're not with the vibrations here. You got to go. So yes. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, I agree. Small-minded people resort to speaking about your physical characteristics. Yep. I had a man I had to block because literally, oh, I did. I had to block a man because he literally said that I look like a man. And I said, I'm all woman. And then he called me condescending and told me not to respond to him. What? Where in the world do you get off disrespecting someone? Because you weren't saying that to ask for clarifications because the video was about Black women. Like, come on now. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, you don't get to disrespect me and then I don't get to defend myself. That's not how this works. So he got the block. Hey, welcome. Okay. The internet has become so much more aggressive now with the evolvement of technology rapidly growing. It's kind of dangerous. I agree. People are unhinged. Like, people are unhinged. And I don't mean that to be judgmental. Actually, it is a judgment. I don't mean that to be disrespectful, right? But people have become unhinged. Like, I really feel like people are becoming more cruel, and more crass, and again, just lacking love, right? And so I've seen it in real life. I've seen it on the internet, and I'm just like, when people comment stuff, my question is like, what was the best case scenario for you here? Like, I really ask people questions to get them thinking about what they're saying and doing. Like, what were you trying to achieve here? Did you think that was going to hurt my feelings? Did you, like, was that going to make you feel better? Why? Right? Like, why? Why? Hey, Benson, welcome. Tevi Tev says, I cried the entire video. It touched me that others felt the same way. Oh, that I have been feeling for years. Thank you. You're welcome. Again, I was just sharing my thoughts and my opinions and my ideas, right? And I'm just glad that it resonated with somebody else. Yeah, that was bad. Everyone is brave online. Speak, okay? Just remember, a lot of these people with voices are suffering from mental illness. That's real. And again, even though I get angry, right? Because I'm human. When I see comments like that, I get upset. Like, it's offensive to me. But at the end of the day, I feel sorry for them, because how miserable do you have to be to literally seek out? First of all, how miserable do you have to be to watch something that you don't resonate with, to comment, like, and I'm talking leaving long dissertations. I have deleted comments that were like 5 paragraphs long. You know what I'm saying? Of just like bashing people and tearing down folks. Like, what kind of energy are you coming from? What pain was done to you that you feel like you have to oppress, harm other people? You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I do feel sorry at the end of the day, but I'm going to be honest, in the moment I get upset. So that's why I took a few days to respond to this, because I made a whole list, and we're going to get to that right now. I made a whole list of just my thoughts and response to what people are saying and are projecting or assuming. Yeah. Wait, what does it say? How do you transcend being outnumbered? What do you mean? Tell me more. Please, I need a follow-up question. Please. A lot of people need to seek professional help instead of spewing out hatred online. Yeah, I agree. And that's the thing. I am no one's punching bag. You don't know me. I don't know you. I am not here for you to punch down on me. Absolutely not. Go to therapy. And I've literally said to people in the comments, go to therapy. Seek help. Like, literally, like, because this is not it. It's not it. Why do conscious, self-aware Black folks always go against the grain, get called condescending? I have no idea. Again, he called me condescending because I told him not to call me a man. So, okay. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I think that's a projection. I think it's a projection, and we're going to get into that. Some of the early days on social media, someone was trolling, and I genuinely asked, what's going on? Are things okay in your life? No, for real. Are y'all okay? And I know people are saying that like to be funny now, but I'm being serious. Hey, Prince Betty. Yes, a whole list. Yes, I did. Absolutely. Because I have a lot of thoughts. Hey, Colette. Welcome. Try Jesus. Don't try me. And that's real, right? Okay. Shout out to Toby and Igwe. All right, in Wigwe. Okay, so the first thing, this is gonna be all over the place, so bear with me. So literally the first thing I wrote was, this is gonna be all over the place because y'all wildin'. A lot of y'all are all over the place, right? So I'm not going in any particular order. I'm just gonna shoot from the hip, and shoot from this list that I have here. Okay. Maybe the outnumbered comment is asking, how do you deal with having an unpopular opinion? Okay. How do I deal with that? Ooh, that's a good question. I deal with it by first processing it with myself, being clear on why I believe what I believe. Then I process it with my friends because they're safe and trusted. And even if I say something that could be problematic, they're not going to judge me, but they're going to guide me through that thing with love, right? And then after a while, because this idea of Black excellence, I've been sitting on for a while. You know what I'm saying? Like, for a few years, actually. And I alluded to it in some of the content I made, like giving up the American dream, or what the American dream cost me. I think that was like earlier this year. Just like talking about the things that I'm thinking about and mulling over and going through. So sometimes I don't even have an answer for what I'm sharing, but it's just my own experience, right? So I think with that, let me say this first. I don't think that it's normal for people to share. Okay. I don't think any human is prepared to receive so many judgments, comments, thoughts about what they think. I don't think that's healthy. And that's why it blowing up to like 65,000 views on that video was really like anxiety inducing for me, because like, it's a lot. It's a lot. Like, you're taking in a lot of information, a lot of other people's opinions, right? And I try to protect myself. I try to safeguard myself as much as possible with other people's opinions about what I choose to do with my life. So then hearing from all these other people, some of the stuff I would show other people, like, am I tripping? Am I missing something? Like, is it me? Right? Like, because that's the first thing I think of, like, what did I say that was so offensive? I literally was combing through the video, trying to figure out what I said that was so offensive, right? But then I realized after responding to some comments and people just being combative just to be combative, or people just being mean just to be mean, right? Like, I realized, oh, this actually has nothing to do with me. It has to do with them. Right. And so when I realized it had to do with them, I was able to free myself from the need to over explain, for the need for people to understand where I'm coming from, and like for the need to, like, again, like, to even engage in something that I don't want to defend myself against. Right. So for this answer, sometimes I just don't deal because I ain't got it. So yeah. So thank you for clarifying that question. That's awesome. Hi. Welcome. All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh yeah, I can imagine, because I think about that, having so many people seeing a video and people commenting can be overwhelming. For sure. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. Also, the American dream was not meant for people like me. So I'm gonna say that and keep it pushing. They're projecting. They are. Absolutely. Okay, here we go. So I said first, y'all are wildin'. I said I didn't make this video to be inflammatory. Honestly, I didn't think that many folks would watch. And I did not, right? And then I said someone made a response video. I stopped watching it once he labeled me black pill. And again, I don't know what that means. I've heard of red pill, blue pill, and I get like the basic understanding of the stuff, but I don't know what black pill means. And I don't have time to research all that stuff. Colette, I know that's right. I said what I said. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the first thing I said is, if we're not coming from the same stance that all people are inherently valuable, sacred beings, then we're not going to agree, right? So for those who might be watching or might be watching too many pills, okay? Those who might be watching or watching the replay, if you don't believe that people are inherently valuable and worthy of love, protection, like kindness, respect, just because they exist, we are not going to agree. So you might as well just click off. You might as well go ahead, right? Like, because we're not going to agree. We're not going to see eye to eye, because a lot of people are trying to earn their worth and see the worth in other people based on their success, right? So anyway, so I'm gonna keep this up because yes, I agree. But yes, so if you don't believe that people are inherently valuable, sacred beings, then we're not going to agree. You might as well exit this conversation, right? And also, if you cannot understand nuance, then this conversation is not for you. If you can't understand that two things can be true at the same time, if you don't understand like critical thinking, and I'm not saying this to be mean, I'm really trying my hardest, like, to come across as not condescending, but I mean what I'm saying. Like, if you don't understand critical thought, then there's nothing, then we can't go. If you can't question your own biases and understandings, then we cannot go together. We can't go. And so we're going to be arguing, butting heads the whole time. I'm not going to spend my precious energy, resources, time arguing with people who choose to misunderstand me. I'm not going to do that. Okay, because that's my boundary, right? Like, my time is precious. It's finite, okay? Like, and not saying that I'm, looking forward to death or anything like that, but we all have a certain amount of time. And I don't want to spend, like, I literally wrote in my journal, God did not give me thumbs to argue with people on the internet. You know what he did give me thumbs to do is to love people. And that's all I'm trying to do. So instead of putting all this energy into responding to trolls, I choose to put my energy into something that is fruitful, that is beneficial, helpful, like, to other people. Like, you know what I'm saying? So again, to me, and this is just a personal conviction, right? To me, it's disrespectful to me, my creator, the people I'm trying to serve, for me to spend so much time arguing with people on the internet who seek to misunderstand me in the first place. It's disrespectful. It's disrespectful to me. It's disrespectful, again, to the people, right? Like, and I can't say that I want to love people for a living and spend that time arguing with people. No, girl, you off track. So this is a note to myself. Okay. All right. So here we go. Yeah, exactly. They're coming for a fight, not knowledge. I agree. Oh, yay. Welcome. Hi. Welcome. I'm happy to see you here. Okay. So let's do this. Oh, hi, Stephanie. Welcome. And there's a purple pill. I never knew that. Yeah, too many pills for me. It's too many. It's all silly to me. It's like, what? There's a black pill. I only heard of blue, red, and purple a few months ago. Too many pills going. I agree. I don't know what it means. I'm assuming it means that, like, you like black people. I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm just again I'm inferring based on whatever information I have. Okay. Excuse me. So here we go. You're amazing. Thank you oh, thank you. I'm happy that I'm making a difference. Literally, it's my joy. It's my pleasure. I have no idea. Can someone explain what purple pill is? Because I would like to know too. Okay. So, all right. So we all have a working understanding of Black excellence. This is one thing I want to say, because a lot of people were saying Black excellence to me means, right? And some of those definitions I love. I think they're very wonderful. Some people were saying I think Black excellence is me loving other people, being the best version of myself, these kinds of things. Love that for you, right? But we all have a general understanding of what Black excellence means. We all, like, come on now. We all, like, we get it. Like, Black excellence is usually said when someone is like, oh, this person got accepted to 25 colleges and has all this money in, scholarships, or, this billionaire started this new business or this new venture, etc. This is what's celebrated and said to be Black excellence, right? It's always about excelling, going above and beyond, doing more than what is required. Just like overworking, being so committed to something. Real quick. Bubbles says, I think it's Bubbles, I just looked up what black pill means, and it says it means absolutely delusioned. Well, I'm glad I didn't watch it. I'm so glad. Yes, I love that. I love this version. And that's the thing. Talking about redefining Black excellence, I love that. That's beautiful, right? Being fulfilled. What I am talking about, though, in my video, I'm talking about elitism, classism, right? Colorism, texturism, all those things, all the isms, right? That's what I'm talking about in my video. Because the reason why I'm bringing that up is because, like, personal definitions and standards are great. And again, some of them I absolutely agree with, right? But I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about this general understanding that we have about excellence. Again, excel, right? Like being the root word of excellence, like excel, like excelling, going above and beyond, being amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what Black excellence, that's what version of Black excellence is usually celebrated. Not the person working as a janitor, not the person working at McDonald's, not the stay-at-home mom. Like these things usually aren't praised as Black excellence. It's usually like, oh, this is basic, this is regular. You know what I mean? Like this is regular Black. Purple pill is when men who are red pill are aware but have insecurities. Purple pill is men who are red pill aware but have insecurities that have deceived to temper the uncomfortable truth of blue pill hopes. See, it's too much. That's a lot. Okay. So again, we all have a working understanding, right? Great. Okay, so nuance is lacking. I said this before. This is not a black and white conversation. It's complicated. It has many moving parts. A lot of folks went to extremes, stretching, saying things I never said, like reaching. And a lot of my responses were like, did you stretch before that reach? Because that's not at all what I said. People saying, oh, so you want people to be poor. Oh, so you want people to be a failure like you. You want people to live in tents on the street. It's like, what? When did I say that? One thing I also want to say as a note, a lot of y'all ain't watched the whole video, and it's fine, right? I don't care about that. But what I care about are people making assumptions and asking questions when they didn't even do their due diligence about watching the video that they're criticizing. So I had people asking me questions about stuff I already said in the video. And I'm just like, you don't even really want to know. You're just here to hang out. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, okay. So, asking questions I already answered in the video. Again, the video average was like 5 minutes, I think, long. And again, I don't care about the watch time, but I do care about people inserting themselves in conversations without context. To me, that's lazy. That's lazy and it's disrespectful of my time because you're asking me for more labor when I already did the labor of making the video and you didn't take advantage of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah. And a lot of people fill the gaps with their own lazy assessments. And again, I don't use lazy loosely, okay? Because I understand like what comes to mind is lazy. But it's like, for me, it's like, if you have the internet enough to comment on my video, then you have the internet enough to watch for full context. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my opinion. So a lot of people fill gaps with their assessments. So because people like to be able to sum people up, we all do it, right? We all make judgments about people, to be fair, based on what we see, little clips that we get of people. We kind of like to have an idea of who people are. And I get it because we're human and we want to be safe. We want to be able to judge people because we want to be safe, right? So, but again, our brains want it to be simple. So we simplify people and categorize them based on what we think, based on our own biases, our own experiences. We all do it, right? So this is what I got from people. So you want to be poor. So you want people to underachieve, whatever the heck that means. You don't want black people to be surgeons and lawyers. You want black people to stay at the bottom. So you're deterring black people from acquiring wealth. Again, when did those words ever come out of my mouth? I said, you're projecting your reality or assumptions or judgments on yourself and on others. All I said in the video was to love yourself, right? And to love others. That was the message of the entire video. And people fought that message hard, called me out of my name and everything in between, right? Someone else said that I'm privileged. And if you have any questions, you can ask them. This is a conversation. Sorry, excuse me. Chris says, I watched the whole thing because it spoke to me. The people that didn't watch the full video, full thing, the video wasn't for them. That part, Chris. They just wanted to fight you and get back to scamming for their IG aesthetic. Why? Chris, not scamming. Oh my gosh. That's funny. That's actually kind of funny. People let that black excellence mess fill their egos. When you critique it, they feel as if you're attacking them. That part. Because some people want to identify with it so bad. I agree. It's like my husband said, I was putting mouths on their idols, right? Meaning I was speaking on their idols, what they idolize. And so the thing is, if you worship something and somebody speaks down on it, you're going to be upset, right? You're going to feel like you have your feathers ruffled. And because I'm speaking down on black excellence, because people are so attached to it and find their identity in it, right? Then yes, they're going to think that I'm attacking them. And no, sweetie, all I was saying was whatever you do, make sure you love yourself. Make sure you're not doing this to earn love. That's all I'm saying, right? But anyway, yes. Yes. Yeah, exactly. What's really crazy is the people who are so angry that we reject black excellence are the very people black excellence wants to turn its back on. Speak. Okay. All right, let me keep going. Which video? Oh, I'm talking about it's called I Gave Up on Black Excellence. So there was a lot of pushback and hoopla. So we're talking about all that. Okay. Oh, thank you. Y'all always remind me. Yes, please hit the like button if you like it. Or, the thumbs down if you don't. That's okay too. All right, so here we go. I lost my place. Okay. Someone said that I was privileged. I know. Surprise! I know that I'm privileged, right? Like, and I'm using my privilege to speak and share. I'm very privileged in that I have the internet. I'm very privileged in that, I have a degree, right? Like, these are things that people say are privileges, right? And I'm using that term loosely because there are some privileges I don't have, obviously, but I do recognize my privilege. And so with my privilege, I choose to use my privilege to empower and help other people. The problem is a lot of people have privileges. There's nothing wrong with having privilege. People have their privileges and don't want to help nobody else. That's the issue, right? So my heart is in the right place. That's fine. I said, someone as an insult said to me, it sounds like you don't want to be black excellence. You want to be black middle class. What? What's wrong with being middle class? What's the problem with being middle class? Like, first of all, for a lot of people, middle class is a very privileged place to be in, even though the middle class is kind of, what is this word? disintegrating. It's a sign for dissolving. Okay, dissolving. Like, even though the middle class is like struggling right now, it's like people aim to be middle class, like, and they feel like they won. And the thing is, what's ironic is that a lot of people, like, you're saying middle class like it's somehow less than, like it's average, right? And it's not average. Let's start there. It's not average. You're saying middle class like it's an insult. And for me, it's like, unless your families were very privileged and very, wealthy your whole life, the whole span of your, lineage or whatever, like, most people becoming middle class was the dream for your ancestors, the goal. Like, and for you to look down on that is, to me, very disrespectful. Almost as disrespectful when people wear those shirts that says, "I'm not my ancestors." Yikes. Oof, yikes. So anyway, yes, okay. But again, it shows exactly what I'm talking about, right? Also, you know that most Black people are average, no matter what that average is, which is the literal definition of average. Like, average means what the most people have, like, give or take some. That is what average means. So to say that I'm trying to be average, it's like, okay, well, most of us are anyway. Okay. So I also said a lot of people are misunderstanding. Yeah, that part. And that's why I was saying, like, the middle class is kind of, going away. But I hear what they were trying to say, but it just wasn't. When the insults don't insult, okay? Because it's like, the math is not mathing. What are y'all talking about? So anyway, a lot of people misunderstand you on purpose and misrepresent you to project and to reach, right? So I got a lot of pushback and a lot of criticisms that had nothing to do, with what I said at all, because people are triggered and they're not listening. Like, we all know what that feels like in our bodies when we get upset, and we feel like our blood pressure rising. We feel almost like the world is like getting quiet because we're so wrapped up in how we feel and not really processing and understanding what other people are saying, right? So I know what that feels like when you're triggered and you're like, I can't hear anything else, but then don't engage with me in a conversation because you're triggered. Deal with that trigger and then come back. You know what I'm saying? So, and I also made a note to the disrespectful ones who call me out my name, the B word, looking like a man, etc., poor, failure, you're blocked. But again, I knew I'd get some pushback, but the way that some of y'all are reaching and stretching and projecting makes me worry about how you see yourself. It makes me worry, like, the Dark Nate, welcome. Now who acting up? Listen, everybody, no, most people understood, but there were some people who were being ridiculous. Oh, thank you, Ashley. Thank you so much. Yes. So again, it makes me worry about how you see yourself, right? Because how you see me is literally a reflection of how you see yourself. How you see me is literally a reflection of how you see yourself. When you need someone to be the loser, when you need someone to be a failure, when you need someone to be less than you, that means that you don't have your own self-esteem. Your esteem is based on other people. Like, literally, your esteem is based off of the failure or the winnings, right? Because in that same mindset, if somebody has more than you, is doing better than you, using air quotes, better than you, then you're going to think that you're less than them, right? So, and I talked about this in my other video about Black women, right? About competition and how we compete with one another. And one thing that I was wrestling with, right, was looking down on myself based on who was around me, right? Like, oh, I'm not as good as such and such, so I must not be good, right? Like, or this person is so eloquent when they speak. I can't speak like that, so I might as well not talk, right? So this idea that, like, there has to be a winner and a loser is not real. This idea that you have to be better than someone is not real, because nobody can be better than you. You are you. There is no competition. You are you. There will never, ever be another you that walks this planet ever. And I know that sounds very cliche, and I'm speaking very passionately, because even all these comments about competition, it's like, who created the competition? Why are we competing? Who benefits from us competing? Not us. And that's us, meaning Black people, Black women, whoever. Like, who benefits from the competition? The people who created the competition, right? That's why I said, like, Black excellence is like this Hunger Games. It's like Hunger Games. It's this thing created by people in a dome, and we're given our, I don't know. To be fair, I didn't even watch Hunger Games, so, but I get the premise. But we're given, like, much like in an arena, right? Like in an arena, like back in the day, where like the people would watch people joust, or, you know, like y'all know what I'm talking about. Like they would sit in the stands and watch people fight themselves to death. Like for entertainment. For entertainment. This is exactly what that is. This is exactly what that is. So, we're taught to compete and compare in school and by family instead of acceptance and embracing ourselves and others. Absolutely. 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 So yes. So one thing I also said is, maybe you think you're better than me because I chose to opt out of exhaustion, right? But the truth is, you don't have to exhaust yourself either. Thank you, baby. Gladiators. Gladiators. That's exactly what I'm talking about, right? Like gladiators. Like they're literally sitting in the stands watching y'all argue about stupid stuff like black excellence, bonnets, you know, HBCUs versus PWIs. It's like, girl, give it a rest. Like, put it down, right? Like, this is silly. This is silly. It's a waste of time. And it's almost like we're doing all this stuff because we really don't have self-worth. We really don't have self-love. All of it is fake. All of it is based off of the success or failures of other people, which means you have no self-worth. That was the whole point of my video. If you watch the video and took from it that somehow, I don't know, that somehow I want to be a failure and I want to be poor and live in a tent, you know what I'm saying? Like, shame on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you're misunderstanding me on purpose, you're wasting my time. And you're wasting your own time. And the truth is, it's easier when you're triggered to attack other people than to do the internal work. It's easier. It's easy for me to tear down other people. What's harder is for me to face myself and say, you know what? I don't love myself. I don't think I'm pretty. I don't think I'm successful. I feel like a failure. It's harder to do that. And so once we self-reflect, just like the video, again, I made about competing with black women, right? Like, it's like, the reason why I felt less than wasn't because of the woman shining and standing in her brilliance and her beauty and her, you know, her light. The issue was with me, that I couldn't see that I had light, that I couldn't see that I was beautiful, right? Like, so anyway, I digress because I can keep going. Yes. You asked me, excuse me, I'm sorry. Have you watched any talk by Dr. Amos Wilson? I have not. I don't know who that is, but I will check them out. Let me write that down. Amos Wilson. I remember. Amos Wilson. No, I won't. Let me write a note. Okay. Yes. Thank you for sharing that. I will check him out. I will. Okay. This reminds me of Finland's school system. They turned away from the competition model that American schools do. Finland schools are allowed to explore their trades, and the students, hold on one second, ironically, excel more when they're allowed to freely explore their natural inclination. Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it? Imagine a child being given freedom. Like, who would have thunk it, right? They always say you want to be poor. Nobody wants to be poor. Thank you. Who wants to be poor? I have a thought about that too. I just want to lose my soul in the process of seeking wealth. Absolutely. And why can't seeking wealth be done in a pleasant way that doesn't oppress other people? Why is it that we can only fathom oppressing others to get money? Like, it's a problem. It's a problem. It's an issue. Okay. Let me go back. Okay. So, all right, here we go. So yes, most black people are average, and there's nothing wrong with that. Again, I got a lot of pushback and a lot of criticisms that had nothing to do with what I said. So I said, we all know what black excellence means to the majority. Aw, thank you. I like hugs. Thank you very much. We all know what it means to the majority, right? Going above and beyond, doing the most, being superhuman, being a prodigy, right? Like we see those lists that are like 30 under 30 or 20 under 20. Like these things are celebrated in this culture. It's about not doing the basic stuff, but it's about actually you're superhuman, right? Okay. So again, you are able to redefine black excellence for yourself, but I'm not talking about that, right? So I'm not saying that disrespectfully. I'm saying I have a general understanding. All right, enough with the intros. Okay, so obviously something is off because a lot of y'all are saying the same thing, and I'm trying to understand where we missed each other. And again, you all have clarified in the comments that nothing was missed. It's just people who want to argue, right? So again, maybe you think you're better than me because I choose to opt out of exhaustion, right? But it also shows me that a lot of y'all are classist, elitist, ableist, and more on that, right? But cruel. More than anything, you all are cruel, right? Folks are saying I'm a failure and going to be homeless. You literally prove my point. Black excellence is about money, access, esteem, all the things that are celebrated in this culture, right? And so you're also taking jabs, though, when you say stuff like that to unhoused folks who might, like, because a lot, to unhoused folks, right? And it shows that you think your status will save you and you think that you're better than them. You're better than folks who don't have homes. That somehow they are failure. Like, when I tell you that most of y'all, most of all of us are like 3 paychecks away from being homeless. A lot of us are living check to check, and it's not even about being irresponsible. It's just about, it's expensive. You know what I mean? Like, it's expensive to live. Living is very expensive, right? And a lot of us think that homelessness looks a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people think homelessness looks like it has a look, right? But homelessness looks like me. Homelessness looks like your coworker, the person you go to school with, that you don't know they sleep in their car until the next morning and brush their teeth in the bathroom and wash their face so they don't look like they don't have a home. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get very upset when I read stuff like that, because I'm just like, oh wow, 222 people watching. Welcome everybody. But yes, like, you think that your status and your wealth is going to save you. That's very clear to me. Thank you, beautiful people, for joining the live. If you're enjoying the content, yes, please hit the like. I would appreciate that. Colette says, unfortunately, too many in our community have been indoctrinated with the idea that our actions and behaviors are governed by the white gaze. The goal is to be accepted and validated. I agree. I completely agree. And I had some people push back on this idea that Black excellence is not for the white gaze. And I have thoughts about that. Even if we are trying to impress Black people, I still push back, though, and ask, where do these standards come from? Who benefits from these standards? Because we didn't create these standards, obviously. Black people did not create the standards. So, like, are we really trying to impress other Black people? Maybe kind of, but not really. Like, I feel like we're really trying to impress, again, the white gaze. We're trying to look acceptable. We're trying to look respectable. You know what I'm saying? Again, respectability politics. It goes right back to that. This idea that if I look the part, if I sound like I speak well, right? If I sound educated, if I, have this degree from this esteemed college or university, then somehow I am the better Black. You know what I'm saying? Like, so for me, it's very clear that it is about the white gaze, because they created the system in which we live in. Like, we're here because of the white gaze. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm on this continent because of the white gaze, right? You feel me? So anyway, yes. Okay. All right. So I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. Again, you're taking jabs at the unhoused because you think your status will save you, but and you think you're better than them when you're not. You're not. Can I tell you, I have gotten that a lot. You sound white. It's like, huh? How I sound white? I'm Black. But I understand the sentiment, right? I get it. I understand. Okay. All right. Folks saying I'm a failure. Again, you prove my point. Moving on. To see me talking about Black excellence, and the first thing people bring up is we need doctors, lawyers. What else? Doctors, lawyers, other kind of professionals, right? We also need the grocery store clerk. We need the bus driver. We need the janitor. Like, literally, we saw during COVID, during the pandemic, the frontline people were the ones keeping the world going. The bus driver, the person working as a cashier. Like, these were the people who, and which makes me so frustrated when I see people. Who's the governor of New York? I can't remember his name. But either way, when he was talking about jobs that are low skill, no job is low skill. Every job has skills. Like, a lot of y'all don't know how to flip burgers. A lot of y'all don't know how to use a Sandy system at McDonald's, right? Like, a lot of y'all don't know how to serve alcohol. Like, these things take skill. These take people skills. It's just about, for me, what's clear is that we value some skills higher than others. And again, that goes back to elitism. It goes back to classism, all those things. So anyway, so we need all these people, right? And it's showing elitism at the end of the day. At the end of the day. Oh, I made a note to myself. Share comment by the guy in the pin chat. Don't know what comment that is, but I'm sure it was trash. So we're moving on. Also, this is... Hello? Working at a fast food joint is hard, low-key. Listen, I worked at McDonald's from 16 until maybe like 20... 22, 23. That's a hard job. That is a hard job. And y'all give them a hard time. And they get paid pennies. People cussing you out over burgers, over coffee that has too many sugars and not enough, like at Starbucks. It's like, calm down. Everybody relax, right? Like, it's hard. It's hard, and you're dealing with people who see you as less than, so they're going to treat you like trash anyway. When I was working at McDonald's, I would say, good morning, welcome, like, how can I serve you or whatever? Let me get 5 double cheeseburgers. And I would stop and be like, good morning. Like, these people don't even see you as people. It is a hard job. It is really hard. I'm not trying to be black girl magic, black excellence, or a strong black woman. It's too much work, and how does it benefit me? That's the question of the evening. That's the question. Yes, exactly. Stop looking down on other people. And honestly, like the headlines in the news lately have been breaking my heart. People dying over Subway sandwiches, over wrong orders at McDonald's, like, and I'm like, yo, unhinged. People are unhinged. A high value man or woman is only high value because of the people underneath them that support them. Speak the truth. Y'all, I'm very animated tonight, but I agree. Because a lot of y'all faves only got wealthy because of the people who bought into their ideas and their, I'm trying to word this properly, but a lot of people that are in that space calling people high value and all this other stuff, they don't really feel valuable. They don't feel valuable. You all make them feel valuable, right? Like, because you create this, it's like supply and demand, right? Like, if you keep showing up, they're gonna feel valuable based on the money that they have, the access, the resources, the women, right? And so for me, it's like, again, if you need those things to feel valuable, you don't feel valuable in the first place. It's all a lie. It's a farce. You're trying to convince me of something that you don't even believe. I don't believe you. Any person that says to me, I'm a high value, whoever, I don't believe you. Especially if they're using, let me clarify. If they call themselves high value, because I feel like everybody has high value, period, right? I feel like no money can amount to a life, all that good stuff, right? But if you're using these measurements, right, like the money, the women, the access, the cars, the community, then you don't have any value alone. Somebody commented, that's probably what I meant to say to myself. Somebody commented on the video and said, and I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but this gentleman said, you don't have value just for existing. You have to earn it. You don't have value. You're not loved for just existing. You have to earn it. And I told him, I said, that's your reality. And I honestly feel so sorry that you believe that. I feel so sorry that you believe that you don't have value and you have to earn that. Because if you think that way about yourself, that is going to be how you think about me. So I'm not even offended. I feel bad for you. I feel bad that somebody told you and convinced you that you have no value outside of what you do for other people. That's sad. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, worked in retail while in high school, college, and that was one of the hardest jobs. People treat me like crap. I believe it. Absolutely. Oh, we gonna talk about that. How do you account for the harsh realities that come with truth-centered living? How do I account for the harsh realities that come with truth-centered living? I'll come back to that question. Remind me to come back to that question. How do you account for the harsh, and can you clarify? Because I do want to answer that question. That's a really good question. Okay. Service work is very hard. It's very hard. All right. Okay. Okay, so yes, this is a video about my life. I should have said that first, right? Like, this is a video about Alicia's life, Alicia's choices, her ideas, and her opinions. That probably should have been the first thing I said, because a lot of people think that I am some sort of financial expert, that I studied finances or strategies or all this other stuff, right? Like, listen, all I got is my experiences, what I have read, what I do have resources for. I go to some of my other friends because they know more than I do. But yeah, like, no. Like, this is about my life. What I choose to do has nothing to do with you. You don't have to do it, right? Like, and I didn't know that there was going to be so much uproar from what I choose to do with my life. You know what I'm saying? And also, one thing I do want to ask the people who are talking about me is like, shouldn't you be celebrating that I don't want to compete with you? This is something that really stuck out to me, right? People are upset that I chose to live my life the way that I wanted to live. Meaning I'm opting out of the rat race. I'm opting out of the competition because it doesn't exist. I'm opting out of all the things that don't serve me and don't serve people. It don't serve people for me to compete with them. So anyway, I'm opting out of that. And instead of people being like, yes, this is a win for me because it's one less person I have to compete against, y'all are upset that I don't want to compete. It does not make sense. It doesn't make any sense. It's like, this means that there are more opportunities for you to win in this competition, right? Like that was a lot of quotes, but there's more opportunity for you to win. Hi, Deanne, welcome. Literally, that man believes what slave owners said about him. Exactly. Only his labor gives him worth. Thank you. Thank you. And to your point, like, again, I've talked about this before, this high value conversation sounds very much like an auction block. Like when, you know, I'm gonna say Kevin Samuels, when he was doing his thing and a lot of other men adopted his stuff about like, oh, what are you on the sliding scale? Like 10 is like, who was 10? Like Rihanna or something. And 1 was like, I don't know who was 1. But either way, like he's having women come on his platform, give their weight. Like they're like, and when I'm watching this, I'm like, does this not remind anybody else of when they sold slaves? That you are the commodity. You're not even a person. Like, you're on this platform trying to prove your worth to people who don't want to see your worth in the first place, right? But also, these people don't see you as people. They see you as commodities. They see you as something to sell. Okay. Yes. Hi, Brian. Hi. Oh, I appreciate that. The only competition should be with yourself. I agree. Ooh, this part. They are mad because they are not brave enough to opt out. And the thing is, right, like, I get it. It's scary. Because what now? And that's why I made the follow-up video about, it was called something like Giving Up the American Dream is Hard. Because it is. When you attach your worth and your value to something so fragile, when you let go of it, it's like, who am I? You're like in this place of contemplation, but also like self-doubt. Like, maybe I should pick it back up. I don't know. Like, do I have worth? I don't know. Is it okay to love myself without these things? I don't know. Like, my friends are doing all this other stuff. They're getting married. They're getting these degrees. And I'm not saying anything's wrong with these things. Okay, so please. But I'm saying, like, if you're using that as a measurement of your worth, it's like, yes, when you see other people doing those things, you're going to think that you're less worthy because you're not doing that stuff, right? So I get it. I get that feeling. I get that triggered reaction that you have because it's like, who am I without this stuff? But the whole point of the video, the whole point of my message is that you are sacred. You are wonderful. You are invaluable, right? Like, these things that fade away, that when they move the goalpost, right? Like, these things have no, like, can't touch you. It can't touch you. That's how amazing you are, you know? And I understand that people have that reaction because they spent so many years being like, oh, this is who I am. I am a doctor. I am a lawyer. I am, you know, Black excellence. And if I put it down, who am I? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I agree. Okay. Wait. I missed something. But yes, okay, I'm gonna keep going. Oh God. Kevin Samuels and Fresh and Fit are true within the matrix and those who support it, but it isn't true for those who seek true understanding, starting with self and within. Yeah, sure. I agree. Right? Like, if you really believe those things, then yes, you're going to resonate with those people. You know what I'm saying? So I agree. Anytime you do anything different than what was conditioned for us to do, it's a challenge to the conditioned identity. I agree. People have become so overwhelmed trying to pay bills. People don't even have the energy to do more community organization. Thank you. Right? Like, because even when I said, like, this is a privileged conversation, a lot of people don't have the time to really consider this stuff. And I'm not saying that I'm being honest. If you are overworked, if you are exhausted, if you are trying to keep your head above water, you don't have time to consider these things. You don't have time to consider this is a game. Capitalism, Black excellence. You don't have time, right? Because you're surviving. And I feel like it's a tool that's used to exhaust you. Because if I exhaust you, if I take your imagination, if I take your ideas, if I take your dreams, and I exhaust you so much that you can't pursue those things or you can't consider other ideas, right? Then I have you. I have you. Once I take your vitality and your energy and all that stuff, I have you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, but yes, I agree. People don't have the energy to do more community organization. Exactly. And like I said in the video, if you're only benefiting yourself, you're not really a benefit. If you're only benefiting yourself, if you're in it for yourself, what can I get? What can I win? Da-da-da. You're not benefiting anybody else. So what is this Black excellence? I'm getting ahead of myself, but I was talking to my friend Marcus on the phone last night. I don't know if he's here, but we were talking about Black excellence and this idea, like just, bouncing off ideas off of him. And one thing that he said that stood out to me was all this Black excellence and people are still starving. All this Black excellence and people are still poor. All this Black excellence and we still having the same tired conversations. It's like, what is that? Who does Black excellence really benefit? Is it Black people? Because if it is, why are we struggling so much? Why are we so selfish? Like, why is there poverty? Like, I'm really asking these questions. Like, what exactly do we benefit from seeking Black excellence? I don't know. Oh, hi. Welcome. Oh, that makes me happy. Thank you. Okay. Can we talk about how Black people diss other Black people who don't have the time, mental energy to put into being an entrepreneur? Yes, we can, because that is another form of elitism. Again, I feel like no matter what we do, whether it's good, bad, or, indifferent, just kind of neutral, in the wrong hands and mind, anything can be used as a tool to enforce or to, be elite. You know what I mean? So like, yes, there are a lot of people who are like, be an entrepreneur. You all are sheep. You all are working for the man. Da, 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 da. And it's like, people have to pay bills. People have to do what they have to do. And until they have, the energy, the help, the resources to be able to, if they want to, that's the first thing. Some people don't want to be entrepreneurs, and that's okay. Everybody don't have to be a business owner. Everybody don't want to be a landlord. Everybody, don't want to do Bitcoin. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, everybody doesn't want to do that. And for people who choose not to do that, a lot of people do look down on those people. They do say, oh, these are sheep. You all are just cogs in the wheel and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, sweetie, no. Like, some people just don't have the energy, the want, or the desire. And that's okay. Like, anywho. Yes, you're live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, absolutely. It actually absolutely is more than capitalism. We'll get into that in a second. But yes, some people enjoy the 9 to 5. Some people do. I don't. But some people do, right? Like, and there's room for both of us. There's room for both of us, right? Because even with me owning businesses, I don't want to hire anybody. Like, I don't want to be anybody's manager. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be anyone's landlord. I'm not interested in any of that stuff. Anyway, moving on. And maybe my ideas will change later on, but right now I'm just kind of like, no. We got it wrong as Black people. Black excellence only benefits us if it affects the entire collective. People make it and tell everyone else to figure it out. Hence why we are poor as a whole. And that's my point. Who does Black excellence benefit? If you have reached this pinnacle of success, Jay-Z, and your people where you came from are still struggling, living in piss poor housing conditions, are you really Black excellence? I don't think so, but that's just my opinion. Colette says there are a lot of rich people. However, our community is still lacking because Black excellence is rooted in a premise of my, for, and no more. Ooh, but exactly, like with all this Black excellence, why are people still struggling? Hey, Marcus, yay. Okay. Deanne says those seeking Black excellence are still seeking approval from those that only value them for their labor and or their willingness to worship Anglo-Saxon culture, the Protestant work ethic, religion. Speak. 100%. 100%. And again, like I have empathy. I understand. I get it. Okay, so Yes. Shout out to Bob. Once they become a part of Black excellence, they turn their backs on Black and no longer allow, to help their own kind anymore. Yeah, I agree. I agree. And the truth is, and again, shout out to Marcus for this statement. He said okay, I'm not even there yet. Let me keep going. Let me focus. Okay. Okay, this one specifically are for people who are believers. And again, this is not obviously not everybody, but this is, where does it say to compete? Like, where does it say to discount ourselves because someone else is doing something we want to do? Where does it say to say that we are better than other people because of what we have? Very confused, because a lot of people are bringing me scriptures and I'm like, where, like, we're not reading the same thing. Because okay. Anywho, moving on. Yes. Okay. There's one more thing I said. I never said I was anti-money or anti-work. I don't know where y'all got that from. But again, it's people who were seeking extremes, because that's not what I said at all. So if someone is not always achieving, they're lazy. Got it. Right. So y'all already know how I feel about calling people lazy. A lot of people are not lazy. They're tired or they have boundaries. They're not going to overdo. They're going to do what their job says, what it requires, and they're going to clock out. Just because they don't want to overwork like you're triggered and you call them lazy because you are tired too. You are tired too. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you don't have to do it. Exactly. It says the exact opposite. So people coming with scriptures, I'm like, what are y'all talking about? It's all flesh. It's all pride. At the end of the day, it's all pride. It's all pride. Okay. Hello? When did I ever say I was anti-money? Never. Okay. Moving on. Okay. So I think it just shows how tightly people hold on to these things that don't really matter in the long run. Like, you're putting your mouth on their gods, like my husband said. Like, I'm speaking on people's gods. People idolize success. They idolize access, esteem. People can idolize anything at the end of the day. And when you talk on something that someone is like, no, this is who I am. When you talk on something that they think is their like who they are, of course they're going to be offended, right? Of course they're going to be upset. Okay. So again, this idea of competition, I feel like it ruins I feel like this idea of competition, people say that everything needs to compete. Competition is necessary. I 100% disagree, but I get it. I understand where people are coming from. However, with competition comes so many destructive things. I literally had someone comment on my video. Shout out to you. I think you're amazing. They said that they didn't want to post anymore because we talk about similar things. And I said, why do I have to be the only person who posts about what I'm sharing? Like, wouldn't it make more sense that if I have light and you have light, that we can come together or in our separate spaces and spread more light? Why do you feel like you have to dim yourself because I'm talking about the same thing that you want to talk about? There is no competition. It's not real. And nobody can express themselves like you can express yourself. No one has your understanding, your experiences, your beliefs, right? Like, no one has you. You are you, right? And you're what that makes that thing special. And so many people don't go for what they want to go for because they're afraid of competing. They're afraid of stepping on people's toes. Like, and I felt the same way. I felt like, dang, she's already doing it. I can't do it. Yes, you can. If anything, seeing people do the thing that you want to do proves that it's possible to do your thing. It proves it's possible. That's like, we're looking at confirmation of our own ideas. And instead of following through on them, we're destroying them because of competition. Because of competition. There is no competition. When people come to me and ask for permission, you don't need to ask me for permission. Do the thing. As long as you're coming from a good place. Now, like, again, like that response video that I didn't watch, I don't care. Use it up. Speak, because I only have limited understanding. I can only go so far. You can go further than me. You have a different understanding, a different take on things, and it's all valid and it's all important. So anyway, like, so this silly competition stuff I see on the internet, it's like, I'm not finna. Let me be clear. A lot of people are talking about competing with each other. Y'all don't own YouTube. Like, y'all are arguing. Like, it's almost like people who die for their block. You don't own it. Like, and not saying that you should die for it, even if you did own it, because no, like you're worth more than that. But it's like we're arguing stuff that we don't even have or own. Like, I'm not defending YouTube. YouTube is a great, I love being here. I love sharing, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, if I didn't share anything at all, I would still be worthy. I would still, do the work to love myself, right? I would still be sharing the same message in every place that I go. But at the end of the day, like, I don't own YouTube. Like, even if I felt the need to compete, it's like people are allowed to create whatever they want to create. You know what I'm saying? Deanne says, what they need to do is read Revelation 18, where the system they are worshiping burns down, since we're going to be sending scripture around. Speak, okay? Because it's all going away. like it's, again, whatever. Anywho, yes. Don't own YouTube. I don't. So, sweetie, create what you want to create. If this is a way for you to express yourself, help other people, provide income for yourself, do it. You don't need my permission. Do it. And even if other people do feel like you're stepping on their toes, or this person took my ideas, it's like a lot. Do you know how many ideas? First of all, there's nothing new under the sun, including ideas. Okay? There's nothing new under the sun, because what I'm sharing here, I'm sure there are books written about it, like hundreds of years ago. Okay, so anyway. Yes, me too. I like hearing different perspectives too. And that's the thing, like, you can hear my perspective and not agree. It's allowed. You don't have to believe what I believe. I also think it's worth adding that you can't help everyone. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. You can't help everyone. It's not your responsibility to be honest. Do what you're doing. I appreciate it. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. And to your point, right? I don't want to do everything. I don't want to help everybody. Okay? I don't want it. Because the thing is, a lot of people want to be God. A lot of people want to be God. A lot of people want that title, but they don't want the responsibility, because you can't handle the responsibility. I can't help everybody, and I'm not meant to help everybody. I'm meant to be where I am, doing my thing, and that's it. Like what a concept. You know what I'm saying? So, anywho, all right, moving on. Okay, a note to myself: correlating work with success and acquiring. Okay, yes. So this idea that, oh, you need to work hard because that is the reason why you're here. That's your sole purpose for being here. And if you're poor, then you didn't work hard, right? Sorry, one thing I want to say. The Dark Knight says the sad thing is all the older people preaching killing yourself for work are suffering an epidemic of health problems. Okay, you're on the money. You're exactly where I am, right? This idea that if you work hard, then you will be successful. If you work hard, then you'll be enough, right? But the thing is, I know hardworking people. I touched them. Like, I held their hands. I hugged them. I held them. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of them were ill. A lot of them were poor. A lot of them were tired. A lot of them were riddled with disease. Some of them were even bitter, right? Because of their overworking. They're overworking. Yeah, they're overworking. So for you to say that somehow people are poor because they don't work hard is a slap in a lot of people's faces that are alive today. Because when I tell you that at one point I worked 3 jobs. I worked at McDonald's, Circuit City, rest in peace, and I worked at a hospital, right? That money is gone. That money is gone. While I was in college, I worked at IHOP, McDonald's, and on campus. Money is gone. That didn't put a dent in anything I was trying to do, right? So to correlate working hard with success is silly. Like, to correlate working hard with wealth, is not true. It's not true. It's not true. It's not true for everybody, right? And there are obviously some, people who like, yeah, I worked hard and here I am, right? But to say, yes, rest in peace. But to say like, oh, you're poor because you don't work hard, that's a lie. My grandmother didn't make it past 56. Oh, I'm so sorry. But the queen made it to 90 with no job. Because the more you rest, usually, and again, obviously things happen, tragedy happens, the healthier you are. Which means the longer you might live, given that everything goes well. You know what I'm saying? So, okay. So while my ancestors, when I say ancestors, I don't mean like, I mean them too, not hundreds of years ago. I'm talking about people who have passed on who I knew, right? Even though that they were poor, they had love, they had community, right? And for them, I think, and I don't want to put words in their mouth, obviously, I can't really ask them, but I think that they felt content with what they had. They were happy with what they had, right? But they weren't the wealthy people on the block. So again, a lot of people in our community has worked themselves into sickness or worked themselves silly that they lose their family, that they lose themselves. You know what I'm saying? That they look up and, 40 years have passed and all they know is work. They don't know what they like. They don't know their hobbies. They don't know, and again, privilege, obviously privilege, because a lot of people don't have time to figure out what they like, what they love. You know what I'm saying? So, okay. One more thing I want to say, and I made a video about this. I do not glorify poverty or struggle. Never said I did. I don't. People are saying like, oh, she wants you to be broke like her. First of all, you don't know what I have in my pockets. I'm just joking. But you don't know what I have in my pockets, right? Because honestly, I can be anybody I want to on the internet. Like anybody can be anybody they want to be on the internet. Anybody, which is scary, but it's true. I don't want people to be broke. I want people to love themselves and others. How y'all missed that message, I'm not sure, right? But I made a whole video about it. So about money being the tool and not the goal. You know what I'm saying? Like money, yes, I want money. Yes, absolutely. Give me money, right? Like I deserve to be paid for the work that I do. I deserve to be compensated fairly. I have ideas for my money in the future, right? I need money, but I understand that it's a tool. The money that I acquire is a tool to live the life that I want to live. And I also know that, again, when I have enough, that's enough. I don't have to go above and beyond. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to go above and beyond to do much more because I have enough. When I'm comfortable, I'm comfortable. And then I can give, right? Like I can give to other people. Though I think you should give, no matter what, again. Anyway, I have thoughts. But either way, so yes. All right. I'm for people making money. But again, you're projecting and going to extremes. Like there's no in between with people. It's just like, oh, you don't want people to make money. It's like, when did I say that, sweetie? How you going to eat if you don't make money? Okay. Even if I did live in a tent, this is a note, because somebody said, you want people to be poor and live in a tent like you. First of all, that's not, okay. Even if I did live in a tent, let's say that I did live in a tent. Does that make you better than me? Because you have more money in a house, but not enough value to not look down on people who are unhoused by choice or not. Because some people choose to be unhoused, right? Like, does that make you better? And so who has low value in that instance? Is it me living in a tent, or is it you looking down and spitting on people who are poorer than you are? Yes. So again, it's amazing how they keep moving the goalpost of poverty. First of all, let me be clear, right? Being poverty, excuse me. People have said that poverty is a choice. It's not. It's nobody chooses to be impoverished, right? This is such a nuanced conversation because yes, on one hand, there are decisions you can make that can put you in poverty for sure. Absolutely. Right. But a lot of people are poor and it's expensive to be poor. And it sounds crazy, but it's expensive to be poor. To come out of poverty is hard. It's hard. And it's not like you can work your way. Like, obviously, you can work your way out of poverty. Damon says you can save more money in a tent. That's very true. And one more note about the tent thing. It's amazing to me that we still keep having these conversations about, like, you want people to live in a tent like you, when people are making millions of dollars by living in a tent on YouTube. People are gentrifying poverty and making money doing it. Meanwhile, y'all are looking down on people based on like their appearances and their looks. It's interesting. And not saying obviously that you should gentrify poverty, because I don't think that's true. But I think it's just really interesting that we look at the look of things, right? But then people are literally, oh no, not these comments, but people are literally like making millions of dollars living in tents in the wild and, all these different things. Like, anyway, no, for real. Pretending to not to be exactly. You definitely save more money. You can. Listen. You very well can. Okay, moving on. All right. It is now in to live in an RV, a tent, to be a digital nomad, right? But y'all had to wait. I'm gonna say this. But y'all had to wait for white people to tell you it's okay. Which takes me to my next point, right? this idea that all things that black people do are ghetto until proven, I forgot who said it. Things are ghetto until proven profitable. Things that black people do, no matter what we do, it doesn't matter. Until someone gives that stamp of approval, that thumbs up, everything we do is going to be ghetto. Everything we do is going to be tacky, or is going to be like, classless, or whatever words people want to use, right? Like everything we do is that until somebody says, you know what? Yes, right? Because braids were ghetto. And now you got the white, Kim Kardashian, I think on a cover was like, boxer braids are in or whatever. Was it cornrows? I can't remember. Either way. Or Bantu knots. Now it's mini buns. You know what I'm saying? Like, so the goalpost is always being moved based on capitalism, right? Like, so exactly. Hip hop was ghetto. Now look. And so we're having these conversations and these debates about things, long nail extensions. Hello, glamping. Yes. Like, and yes, precisely. Right. And shout out to all my little booty people out there. I see y'all. I'm with you. But it's true. Like these little, like these butts are now in, like, again, what I want to say is black people, and I'm saying this in full confidence. Black people obviously create culture. And a lot of us hate our culture until other people tell us that it's okay to love our culture. A lot of us are trying to escape from this look or this sound or these ideas, right? Like we're trying to remove ourselves from this because we think if we remove ourselves from this, then we'll be worthy. But then when it's in now, then it's like, oh, now y'all are trying to, yikes. But now you're trying to be like me. So I should have loved myself in the beginning. Like I left myself. I put myself down. I changed myself, right? To fit into your idea of what success is. And now that I'm here, I'm looking back and who I was is in trend. It's trending. It's trendy, right? Like, but the thing is, you were always that. You were always fly. You were always enough. You were always loved. And again, like even talking about like code switching, right? This idea, because yeah, code switching is necessary. It's if you're trying to listen, I get it. People are trying to survive, right? Code switching is a skill. And a lot of people cannot do it, right? And not because they're somehow inept or like, they're not good enough. It's like, no, like a lot of people cannot do it, right? And so now you hear TikTokers and YouTubers and all these other people having black sense, right? When that was our AAVE and that was our or / ebonics, whatever word you want to use. It's like black people are taught to hate themselves until it's profitable to be us. Black people are taught to hate themselves until it's profitable to be yourself. And then you're the one left out. Not the people who are pretending and putting you on, being a caricature of who you are. It's you. You're the one missing out when you could have been loving yourself this whole time. You know what I'm saying? Anywho, okay. The black sin trends are very wild. Hey, True Mystique, welcome. Sorry, welcome. But yes. Okay. Moving on. All right. Somebody brought up competition. That's why I was going to come back around to this. Somebody brought up competition and this. You are the commodity. That part. Because even wasn't it on TikTok where like they went on strike? Yes, they went on strike because they were making all these dances and all this other stuff. And the people who were getting like the deals and the money were white people, their white counterparts, I think. Right? Like, so it's like this idea that like, oh, what you do is not enough until other people do it. And now it's like, oh, it's trendy. You know what I'm saying? Which is why I'm like, why are we looking to these people for approval anyway? But that's a whole other conversation. Okay. Yes, it is a skill. Absolutely. Like, again, growing up in school, and I talked to my mom about this, and so we talked about like code switching and how she taught me how to code switch. Like, I didn't know what code switching was growing up, but I understood the idea. I would hear my mom on the phone with her friends or with, like, we all know what that's like. You hear a mom on the phone with her friends or her family, but then you hear her in the workplace and it's something different, right? So even though she never said, this is code switching, It's like, no, oh, I understand that in order to move in these spaces, I have to sound a certain way, or I have to carry myself a certain way, right? Or there is no room for me to make mistakes. There is no room for me to fail in these spaces. You know what I'm saying? But when I come home, or when I'm around people who are safe enough, I can take off that layer of code switching, right? Because it's heavy. It's heavy to keep pretending all day long. You know what I'm saying? So yes. Yikes, that part too. And it's hard, right? It's hard because we don't really have anything that's, so the comment says we need to stop putting ourselves on their platforms and expecting them not to steal what we do. That's real, right? Because it's hard because, like, where else are we going to go? Unless we create our own thing. You know what I mean? Like, where else are we going to go? You know what I mean? So I get it. Okay. Defeatism. What is? Please clarify. I would love to hear your opinion. Okay. All right. So again, somebody brought up competition. And so they brought up trees and how trees compete, right? And how basically the argument was everything competes. Everyone competes, right? And so this idea that humans don't compete is like anti-nature somehow. I think that was their argument, right? And so on one level, I understand, because sure, like if you live in a pride or something and like you're the male lion and you're like, oh, I got to compete for my pride. That makes sense, right? But we're also not animals. So, okay, two things. We're not animals, so why do we keep comparing ourselves to animals like we don't have autonomy or choice? Okay. Second point, nature, same species of things usually don't compete with each other. Like, in talking about trees specifically, again, shout out to Marcus, trees share their nutrients. Plants take care of each other. Like they literally use this. I'm talking about same plants, not competing plants like, weeds and stuff like that. I'm talking about the same species of plant, meaning same species, people, right? People. Plants share. Trees share. Trees take care of. Trees link together under the ground, like as a system, so one doesn't blow away. Otters hold hands and it looks cute, right? But it's smart because they hold hands when they sleep so they don't drift away from each other. You know what I'm saying? Like every other animal work together. Animals work together. There's an order, sure. Like there's a hierarchy, sure, right? But they work together for the survival and the benefit of all the people. All the animals. Of all the animals, right? Like they work together. We are the only same species that feel the need to compete with each other. I mean, obviously, again, this is a fallen world, so sure. Like there are things that happen, but humans, it's like, but we have a greater ability to process things and think about things. And yet we still want to devolve into animals. We still want to call ourselves alpha males when it was talking about wolves. Why are you comparing yourself to an animal? Like, what? You are like, I'm just like, I'm so, yeah. Hi, Clarity. This is an interesting conversation, new to the channel. Welcome. I honestly have been thinking about the effects of falling for the corporate scam. I should have put on my glasses, but yes, me too. I'm thinking about it too. And again, I don't have all the answers. I'm just sharing my thoughts, right? Wolves even roll in packs. Okay. Very true. A concept that was debunked years later, alpha wolves. Yes, the person who wrote about the alpha wolves, they basically went back and said, actually, I was wrong. Forget it. But people are still running with it. Like alpha wolves or whatever doesn't really exist. Yikes. Okay. Welcome. So glad I found your channel. You were exactly 100 on this. Thank you. As a disabled person, I never felt like the norm, invisible or cared about. I'm so sorry. And with Black excellence, feeling like we don't belong. I am really sorry about that, Miss Rogue Goddess. I'm really sorry about that. And that is one of the thoughts that came up in my mind is like, well, what about, what about everybody else? You know what I'm saying? So thank you so much for sharing your experience. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. Thank you. What's an alpha wolf? I mean, the idea is that like there's one wolf in the pack that like everybody kind of like bends to, like he's like the alpha, you know what I'm saying? Like he's like the one, the strongest one, the one that has most impact and influence. But the idea of the alpha wolf was debunked, so it's not even true. But people are still talking about alpha male stuff like it exists, but it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Excuse me. People are not in touch with their own humanity, or excuse me, it went away. Okay, people are not in touch with their own humanity or content with that. Yes, but animals are seen as powerful without responsibility. Yes, yes. Also, like, again, to this point of competition, right? We compete not because there are limited resources, but because the resources have been monopolized, can I speak, and greed takes over, right? The reason why we compete is because people are hoarding. The reason why we compete is because they created the competition, right? There is not a lack of food. This idea of like food scarcity, we are not scarce of food. There is no scarcity. It's people hoarding their stuff. It's people hoarding their things. Like, again, shout out to Marcus. This quote came from him, so shout out to him. He said, there are enough resources, there just aren't enough resources for greed. There are enough resources, and I'm probably butchering this. There are enough resources, they're just not enough for greed. And even though that makes perfect sense, like it's a very simple concept, right? It's a very simple concept. It's profound. Because obviously, if people are hoarding things, right? If people are hoarding things, there's not going to be enough for everybody else. Imagine that. If I have 100 beans and there are 100 people, for the sake of this argument, there are 100 people. If I take up 20 beans, somebody's going to miss out. Somebody's going to miss out. That's math. That's math. Thank you. We can literally grow. Exactly. There is no lack of food. I worked at McDonald's. I told y'all earlier, right? Our food cost, meaning like how much food we throw away, was high. Every day, burgers, not saying it's healthy, but burgers, fries, hash browns, sandwiches, stuff people just don't want, like, are thrown out every single day. Why is anyone starving? Why is anyone starving? Ooh, that's a good quote. Some of us are human doings instead of human beings. I agree. So what's your goal with these ideas? Why do you want people to give up, in a sense? I want them to give up elitism. I want them to give up classism. I want them to give up trying to earn their worth and their value. And I want them to pick up self-love and love for other people. And generosity and kindness and thoughtfulness and gratitude and contentment. All these things. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I want people to give up. Hope that makes sense. Okay. Do you think the underlying problem is that most Black Americans don't actually, don't actually know where their true ancestors come from? So we identify with our environment instead of culture. I mean, that could be a part of it. Absolutely, right? Like, absolutely. If you don't know where you come from, if you don't know, first of all, I feel like Black people, and I'm speaking specifically about Black folks who are descendants of slaves, or of enslaved people, excuse me. I think we're an interesting case because we don't really have anywhere to go back to. I mean, we can, right? If we figure it out, obviously, but we don't really have like people can come here, get what they need and then go back home, where for us, it's like, this is our home. So it's almost like of course we're going to adopt the culture around us because this is our culture. This is where we are. You know what I mean? So I think to your question, that could be a big part of it. It could be, like we're just kind of here and we're doing the best that we can with what we have. Which is why when people talk about like Black communities and things like that, it's a complicated conversation, because if we're talking about Black communities, we have to really include, like, we have to understand, like, what does it mean to be Black? Like, who is included in this? Do we all come from the same background with the same beliefs and values? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's because we're not a monolith. You know what I'm saying? Like, Black people are just not the same all around, right? We have similar experiences, but we're not a monolith. And so trying to figure out, how to actually put together community is difficult because we're all coming with our own biases, experiences, fears, projections, all that stuff, limitations, all that good stuff, So I hope that makes sense. I just saw something. Genesis, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate your generosity. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay. Hold on. Wait a minute. Diddly Gamer 1222 says, I can't stand the argument of Black Americans don't know where they come from when there's literally 600 years of history that we have here in this land, culture that we made up from our old tradition, I think you're trying to say. I mean, I agree. And that's the thing. Like, let me be clear. I think that Black culture is legitimate. Like, Black American culture is its own subculture. Like, it's its own thing, right? Like, but I guess what I'm saying is, like, because we had to create or even use things that we remember from the land that we came from and create our own culture, right? It's not like we have some sort of understanding about exactly where we came from. You know what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense. Okay, I'm trying to tread lightly, but yes. Even if we know our history, we would still need the means to go back to somewhere that fosters our community and allows us to live and thrive. I 100% agree. Absolutely. Which is why, and again, I know y'all talking about reparations and all this other stuff. I'm for reparations. Okay? Run me my coin. We're the true. Listen, sure. I'm sure I have a lot to learn. Okay, let me get back to, it's a subculture. That is a problem, y'all. You think Black culture being a subculture in America is a culture. And when I say sub, I don't mean less than. I mean, like, it's our own little nook of American culture. Like, it's specifically Black American culture. That's all I was trying to say. Maybe I used the wrong words, but yes. Okay, here we go. Yes, I agree. Black American culture is a culture. Yes. So when people say that we are uncultured, it's like, how? Also, if we are uncultured, and again, this is another conversation though. Like, if we are uncultured, it's like then the jazz, country, blues, hip hop, soul, rock, house, what else? Like, and obviously I'm just talking about music specifically here, but it's like, if we are not a culture, how do we create culture? Like, how does that make sense if we're not a culture? Okay. I don't want to derail the conversation. Okay. Hey, that part. Okay. Moving on. Okay. Go. Shout out to the DMV people in the chat. Absolutely. Go. Yes. Country. Absolutely. We created all that. Thank you. Trees care for each other and communicate with each other for the benefits of its survival. Absolutely. And I feel like we should be more like trees. I feel like we as a people in general need to be more like trees. Because, again, this individualism is killing us. It's literally killing us. Like, we're out here stranded with no hope, no money, no resources, no nothing, because we don't value community. We don't value being vulnerable enough to ask for help or to seek resources or to come out of our own understanding. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, shoot. I didn't know so many of y'all are from the DMV. Shout out to y'all. Hey, yes, Baltimore club music. I like Baltimore club music too. But anyway, yes, we did go on a whole tangent. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. Okay. So yes, so we compete not because there's limited resources, right? I agree. Not because there are limited resources, but because the resources have been taken and greed takes over, right? So like Marcus said, there are enough resources, just not enough for greed. Okay, so there has always been trading and bartering and all of that, right? That's always existed. But this brand of capitalism where everything that people need, like food, clothing, and shelter, is kept behind expensive paywalls, right? There has always been trading and working and giving, right? There has always been that for the greater good of the people, right? But it's this specific kind of capitalism that I'm talking about that makes you, that makes you feel like you have to hoard things. But yes, the supermarket throws away food every day. And I think there are some nonprofits that work to try to like get that food and give it to people who need it, right? Because I think the idea is like they're afraid of people getting sick and afraid of like being sued and stuff like that. But people need to eat. People need to eat and also make the food safe enough for people to eat. I know it's more complicated than that, but anyway. Yes, we do. That'd be dope. It's not a tangent if you can connect it together. Okay, thank you. Wingwolf 500, I appreciate that. Thank you. And thank you, Pan-Africanism Strikes Back. Building community takes hard work and sacrifice. I agree. Oh, wow. Thank you. We appreciate that. Go-Go is fun, y'all. Check out Go-Go. If you have not heard of Go-Go, which I think you should have. But if you haven't heard of Go-Go, check it out. It's fun. I have a lot of fun. Okay. Ooh, question in chat. I'm gonna come back to this question in a second. Trying to go down Georgetown. That's funny. Okay. The next thing I want to say is, again, competition. This idea, okay, there has always been trade and bartering and all of that. That's always existed. But this brand of capitalism where everything that people need is kept behind expensive paywalls, and it's overdone. Like, it's overdone, right? So this example of like the buffalo, right? The buffalo in the States, in this continent, the buffalo was disappearing because of greed. Meanwhile, people who lived here used it for what they needed to use it for, right? You need hide, you need meat, you need whatever, like fat, all these different things. They were using it for what they need. But the problem is there are no limits with American greed. It's all about acquiring more. Somebody asked me about why I think it's bad for people to train of thought. We're talking about whether it's bad for people to ask for more when they have wealth. Like somebody said to me, basically summarizing, so what, you think people who are wealthy should just give away their wealth? I do. Controversy. I do. I feel like when you have enough, if you're making $500,000 a year, you know what I'm saying? Like, or $1 million, whatever, right? Like, I think it's okay. I think it's okay to, good point. I think it's okay to give some stuff away, right? But the act of hoarding is a fear. It's a byproduct of fear. You feel like you're going to run out. You feel like you're never going to have enough. You feel like if you don't have more than this person, then they're better than you are. It's all fear-based. All that energy is fear, right? Instead of being like, you know what? I have enough. I think I can give to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, what a concept. Throwing food away is more profitable because it creates artificial scarcity. Thank you, Miss Full Roller Sarah. I hope I'm saying that right. That's a great point. Oh, crap. Okay. I thought I lost the question. Okay. So again, yes, the buffalo was killed to destroy natives. Absolutely. But also like, yes. So should you not be celebrating again now that there's one less person competing? Because I'm not competing. There's enough resources, but not enough for greed, like Marcus said. Okay. The question is, what is your opinion of people saying they supported Colin Kaepernick, but still support the NFL? Ooh, complicated question. I have thoughts on the NFL in general. I think that it resembles slavery. So I'm not really pro NFL. I also don't really watch sports like that, to be honest, to be fair. But my opinion is that people are fickle. People have short memories. We really do. As humans, we have very short memories. And I think people are just peopling. You know what I mean? Do I think it's right? No. No. But people are people. You know, they're fickle, they're flawed. We all are. But yeah, I don't like it. If that's what you're asking me, I don't like it. I don't like that they're all of a sudden like I think even recently Rihanna came out, and don't quote me because I don't follow this stuff. But a lot of people have been talking about what is the word? Rihanna, the Super Bowl halftime show, the Pepsi halftime show, right? So this idea that she's doing it now, but back then she said that she would never support the NFL. It was like in 2019 or something. I think that people do what is in their best interest. I think that people change their mind to fit their reality, and people are allowed to change their minds. People are allowed to change their minds, right? Like there's no limit. Like, and even when people talk about something, you're contradicting yourself. I'm open to contradicting myself. I am human. I have competing thoughts, competing ideas. One day I feel one way, one day I feel another way, right? Like, I think there's room for what seems like contradiction, which could just be questioning, right? But at the end of the day, it's like people are allowed to change their minds and change their politic and change what they believe about certain things. A lot of people feel like all of a sudden, oh, missed it. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, exactly. All of a sudden, you know, because Jay-Z is a part of the NFL now, a lot of people feel like, oh, it's okay now because he said we're past kneeling. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's fine. The black billionaire, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, people follow their own politic and change their minds. Whether that's right or wrong, that's up to them to deal with. You have to remember sports is also a form of escapism, excuse me. So many feel like they need it. I agree. Exactly. That's why I'm very clear on letting people enjoy stuff, letting people have fun. I don't want to police what people do. I have my own thoughts. And sometimes my own thoughts can be heavy, right? But at the same time, it's like, no, people need to have fun. People need to have something that brings them joy. So, yes. Okay. Oh, thank you. Black Africanism strikes back. People with money create opportunities. Disincentivize innovation. I missed it again. Socialism stifles innovation. That's why European conquered Africa too comfortable. No, that's not why they conquered Africa, but I hear you. I also want to be clear that I'm not pro-socialism. I'm not pro-communism. Actually, I don't know if I'm a socialist or not. I might be. I got to do some further research, but I never said that socialism or capitalism or communism is the answer. I think that people are greedy, and no matter what system it is, if they're inherently greedy and evil, then the systems will be inherently greedy and evil. Like we see communist countries, struggling, because of evil people. But I don't think, yeah. So I hear you. All right. Let's keep going. Ooh, I love that. Anarchy. I love it. You are definitely a socialist. Okay. Maybe. I might be. Do you think this conversation is political? As your name is Everything is Politics. So if everything is politics, yes. No, but do I think it's political? I think that when it has to do with people, yeah, sure. Absolutely. Okay. All right. Moving on. Let's see. So people tell me that I'm not a realist, and I'm not. Surprise. I am not a realist. I don't want to be. Have you seen our reality? Have you taken a look around? Like, I am not a realist. I don't want to be. And the thing is, like, I'm here. Like, people are like, you don't live in the real world. I am in the real world. I exist. I am not an AI version of anybody. Like, I am real, right? But like, I don't support the reality that we have now. I don't think it's been doing. Oh, thank you, Marcus. Marcus knows me. He doesn't think I'm a socialist. I appreciate that. I guess I'm just open to like these titles. I feel like people use these titles, and the reason why I said maybe I am. People use these titles to discount people and to invalidate what they're saying, and I'm not really lining up with any of that. I think you can call me whatever you want to call me as long as you hear the heart of what I'm trying to say. But if you're just discounting me because I'm a socialist or a communist or blah, 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 then that's on you. You know what I mean? So yes, thank you. Let's see. You are not, according to Marx's definition, what you are suggesting accords more with ancient wisdom. Oh, yay. Wonderful. I love that. I love it. Thank you, Deanne. Real. You don't have to choose. That's a good point. A lot of people put a lot of people in boxes. That's what we love doing that. We love putting people in boxes. And it's like, can people just exist and have, because maybe I take some of this and that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like these titles. It's just, anywho. Okay, I agree. Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm not a realist. I think that all good things start as ideas and thinking about the ideal of something, right? And so look at the Wright brothers for this example. Flying. People were like, y'all, I'm sure people looked at them and scoffed and was like, this is the real world, okay? We don't fly. We ride horse and buggy, or we ride cars. We ride cars, right? Like, this is not play. This is not a game. This is like real life. It's like, okay, but now we're flying in commercial aircrafts. You know what I'm saying? Like, so this idea of being ideal versus real, it's like, I think it could be both. I am in the real world, and yet I still want to improve society. I still have hope. I still have hope that things can change. And I think that when people take your hope, they take you. Again, like I talked about before, if they take your energy, your vitality, your hope, your dreams, right, then you won't try to push against the system. You won't try to improve. You won't try to do something different, right? Because you feel like this is all that there is. You know what I'm saying? No human is a monolithic creature. We are all multi-layered and multifaceted because each of us has unique backgrounds and experience. I agree. Absolutely. 100% agree. Okay. This version of capitalism was an ideal for someone. The world that we live in now was somebody's ideal, right? Like the reason why they came here in the first place, or, the Americas and Other places they said they showed up, but they didn't, right? Like, it's like, that wasn't ideal. That wasn't ideal. And so being called, like, if they have your imagination, they have you. So being called idealistic is not an insult to me. It's a compliment. It's a compliment, because I feel like the best ideas come from people who are idealists. That's just, you know what I'm saying? That's my own opinion. Okay. Somebody told me, basically, if you're a failure, just say that, right? The thing is, maybe I am a failure. Maybe I am a failure. And I think that's okay. I think a lot of people are afraid to fail. I think a lot of people are afraid to fail because they think that that means something about them. When really you failing or not meeting the mark or whatever term you want to use, it's like, that's you gathering information. I'm not afraid to fail. I don't like it. It's not fun. I'm not running to fail, right? But the only way to learn stuff is to fail, is to try stuff and see if it works. And if it doesn't, you move on to something else. So you calling me a failure is not really an insult. It's kind of like, okay, sure. Maybe I did fail this, and maybe I'm moving on to something different, right? But the thing is, growing up, like, Black excellence, like this idea of making a lot of money, of making the grades, going above and beyond, you know what I'm saying? Like, doing all this stuff, like, that was me. I was an overachiever in high school and in like college and all this other stuff. And I realized I don't like it. All I got was exhaustion. I was just tired. You know, and so I thought, so you think I failed, and I did. I failed myself, right? I failed myself. I treated myself unkindly. I made myself sick, right? I had to go to rehab because I was working myself like literally into sickness, right? And all of it was from overworking, being stressed out, and putting myself last. So yes, I did fail. I failed myself. I failed to protect myself, value myself, see myself as worthy without these things. So since I put it down, I've been happy, healthy. I feel more impactful. I feel more like myself, right? And obviously there are things I still want to achieve and things I still want to do, but I'm content with myself. For the first time in my life, I feel like I can finally say that I'm content. I like myself. I'm literally working to love, right? Like, to like love myself unconditionally. And will that ever happen? I don't know. But like, I actually like myself. I see myself, right? Like, I've seen myself for the first time. Because I'm not busying myself. I'm not distracted with doing and acquiring and obtaining. Like, I see myself. I can hear myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I love that. I love what I'm discovering. I love who I am. Let's see. Sorry. Deanne says, in an inquiry into the wealth of nations, the ideals of Adam Smith, published 1776, the ideals of Adam Smith, and considered the Bible of capitalism. Although Smith's ideal could never be reached because of slavery. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. Thank you. I have to look that up. Failure is a temporary action, not a person. I agree. Hi, welcome. Right. The mundane was once thought to be impossible. Practically everything we take for granted was an outlandish flight of fancy. Exactly. I agree. Oops, I missed a thing. Ooh, I banned Black excellence in my house. I like that. Aw. I like to hear your voice, Alicia. Great. It is good to love who you are. I agree. And I'm trying to get there to, like, you know, love myself unconditionally. And again, it's a journey. I feel like healing is a journey. It's not really like, oh, this is the destination. You know, I feel like we'll forever be healing, forever be knowing and growing, because I'm ever changing. And so that means getting to know myself in every stage of life. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a rush. Lord willing, my life is going to be long, and that means I'm going to spend a lot of time with myself. So yeah. Okay. It's hard loving yourself as you are when we are taught to strive to be like everyone else. I love that. I mean, I hate it, but I love that you said that. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Okay. Okay. So yes. So some of y'all call me a communist because I don't want to work. That's not how communism works. So I don't understand that. I'm also said nothing about communism, but since we're here, again, like I said, anything, capitalism, communism, everything in between, if it's in the wrong hands, the people will suffer. It's that simple for me. I don't think people have to be excellent or excel just to have their basic needs met. I don't. That doesn't make any sense to me. Why should I have to excel just to have somewhere to live? Anywho. Oh, yay. Yes. Thank you. And I agree. It's a journey. Oh, oh no. Okay. You know who you are, and that's defined if you are a success or not. I agree. When they can't do that anymore, it ruffles the feathers of those who have let others define them and thus determining their success. I 100% agree. Because my success, I'm very clear on not basing my success on things I cannot control. Doesn't matter how many subscribers I have, right? It doesn't matter. I mean, I care, but it doesn't matter. Like, that's not determining whether or not I'm successful. Me being successful has more to do with my process, my being true to myself, my being consistent in whatever way I want to be consistent, creating what I want to create, impacting the world in the way that I want to impact it, right? And not necessarily on who's subscribing, who's watching, who's liking, because I can't control that anyway. That's none of my business. My business, again, is just stepping out and doing the thing. And so if I do the thing, I am successful, no matter what the response is, no matter who watches it or doesn't, who likes it or not, right? Like, I determine what success is for me. And I'm not basing it on other people's opinions, because that is crazy, right? Like, that would literally drive me nuts. If I'm basing it on everything that everybody says, I would lose my mind, like, for real, you know? So yes. Okay. The bonnet conversation. Here we are. Oh, sorry, I missed this. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Pan-Africanism strikes back. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. It seems like you were in an extreme situation and are now defining that as Black excellence. A healthy Black family is Black excellence, not a paycheck, in my opinion. Listen, I love your opinion. I love it. But like I said earlier, like, I'm not necessarily talking about everybody's personal definition of Black excellence. I'm talking about this general idea, that the more that you achieve, the more that you acquire, the more that you have, the more access and resources you have, the better person you are. That's what I'm talking about. But yes, I love that definition. Wonderful. True. Okay. Who cares? I care. I'm gonna be honest. I care about other people's opinions. I care about my friends, my families. I care about, and even people, like, I don't want to offend people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I care about people's opinions, but I don't want them to drive my life, if that makes sense. You know? Like, I think it's kind of unrealistic for us not to care about what people think, and, like, at all. You know what I'm saying? Like those people are dangerous. People who don't care what how other people are affected, how other people are harmed, or, you know, people who don't care, that kind of stuff, that's literally not safe. These people are not safe. I think it's okay to care about, the people that you care about and how they feel about what you do. You know what I'm saying? But we just have to be sure to monitor who we're listening to, how we're allowing them to affect our lives. Because I can love someone and they still could, you know, have the best thoughts for me. But if I don't resonate with that, I don't have to do it either. I can love you, but like, thank you so much for your opinion. However, you know what I mean? So yes. Okay. Oh, yay. Reminds me of the parable in the scriptures about the one lost sheep. If you reach one, that's success. Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful. Aww. Thank you, Colette. Thank you. Nefer Adam, please correct me if I'm pronouncing this wrong, but I'm so freaking happy to see this in such a young woman. Oh, thank you. You just saved yourself a lifetime of undue and unnecessary suffering. Our ancestors are beaming at you right now. Don't make me cry. But yes, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. The bonnet conversation. Dun, dun, dun. This is something that a lot of people got stuck on. And I just brought it up as a supporting argument, right, for what I was saying. But a lot of people got caught up in it and was like, I was with you until the bonnet. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Or bonnets are disgusting. Or it's the same as being, somebody commented and said it's the same as being naked in public. I was like, how? Bonnets are literally adding more clothing to your body. How is that possible? How is that the same? Okay. How's that the same? It's not, and to me, it's just not that serious. Like, literally, when I see a woman wearing a bonnet, I think nothing. Like, I literally don't think anything. I think this woman is minding her business, grocery shopping at the beauty supply store, or driving in her car, dropping off her kids, minding her business, just trying to live. Meanwhile, not thinking about us at all, right? So my thoughts don't even go to like, oh, she doesn't respect herself. I don't, like, what does that have to do with respect? She's protecting her hair. Like, when I used to have hair and I used to get it pressed, they would do like little pin curls or whatever. I can't put a head wrap on that thing because it's going to crush my curls, right? Like, If I put a head wrap on my curls, they're going to be flat, and I'm going to be upset because I paid a lot of money to get it done, right? But if I am going out in the elements and I have my little pin curls and I have an event later on that night, right? Then I'm going to keep my bonnet on, and y'all going to catch this bonnet, and it's going to be okay. You're going to be fine. You're going to be okay. It's okay. Bonnets are sleepwear. That's the only thing about it. I don't agree. I wear my bonnets more than just to sleep. You know what I mean? Like I use it to protect my hair again. Just because like I have natural hair. So like even if I sit in a car, if we're traveling or something, like if I sit in a car and I lean against the headrest, my hair will curl into the headrest and it'll pull out my hair. You know what I'm saying? Like literally it'll pull out my hair. And so to protect my hair from damage, it's like I put it on. You know what I'm saying? Like no one's going to see me in the car anyway. Probably just me and my husband or my mom. They don't care about what I wear. Who am I trying to, and I think the whole point about this bonnet conversation is who are black women trying to impress? Why do black women owe you their beauty? First of all, black women are beautiful, period, right? But why do they owe you getting dressed up and putting on outfits that are dressed to the nines and being put together? Why do they owe you that? You don't even know them. Like, what? But this I would be wearing one right now if I could. If I could. My hair is drying though. I just washed my hair. But yeah, like why are we trying to have black women show up? Why do black women again have to go above and beyond to please people? If I'm in the grocery store getting eggs, if she's in the grocery store getting eggs, she's not thinking about you. And like I said in the video, she is more free than you are because you literally have your panties in a bunch, worried about what she's wearing on her head when she's not thinking about y'all at all. Hey, I know that's right. I've seen some of the baddest sisters in bonnets out here in the DMV. Me too. Excuse me. Me too. Like, okay. Also, do y'all remember that everybody wore bonnets back in the day? Did y'all forget that? But again, whenever black people do it, it's a problem. I went to, and again, this HBCU versus PWI conversation has me thinking. I thought about making it. I don't have time because I wanted more trolls. But the idea that I had was like, when I went to school, at a white college, they would show up in pajamas and they would not have their hair washed. They would not be presentable, right? Meanwhile, like, you know, and for me, that was kind of like, what's happening, right? Like, this is weird. But like, we're having these internal conversations and homeboy, white man, is showing up to class, getting grades and stuff like that, wearing pajama pants. It's like, not saying that you have to wear pajama pants. I'm not saying that, right? But all I'm saying is like, relax. Like, take the pressure off of yourself to not be able to be human. People don't have to be put together every single day. No, Marcus is my best friend. That's my best friend. Jamal is my husband. I just saw you, baby. Sorry, I can't find you. Either way. Oh, thank you. That's sweet. But yes, like again, these literal like conversations are so low vibrational to me. It's like, why are we discussing this? What a black woman desires to put on her head. Why are black women always a topic of conversation? Why are y'all always nitpicking black women? Because I see black men every single day wearing do-rags. I don't see nobody making videos about that. What's the problem? Relax. People are not thinking about you. That man has a do-rag on because he has waves or braids or locks and he has somewhere to go. Like, it's that simple. Anywho. Oh, I missed that question. Why do we have to be like everybody else? I didn't see that. I'm sorry. Sorry, y'all. Oh, there you are, baby. That's sweet. Thank you, baby. That's sweet. You're very kind. Okay. It's just not that serious to me. I'm sorry. It's just not that serious. It's not. I don't care. And I will be outside wearing a bonnet. And I dare someone to tell me that I am less valuable or I don't respect myself because I'm protecting my hair. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. And again, black women's hair, which is why I know we're going on a tangent, but black women's hair has been under fire for forever. Like, literally in some places it was illegal for black women to even show their hair. For it just to exist. we're still trying to pass laws to make it okay to not what is the word, to not deny people jobs or access based on how their hair looks, Black people specifically. Like, and we're still having this tired conversation. Please stop. Let them wear what they want to wear. If you don't want to wear a bonnet, that's fine. You don't have to. You don't have to, but you also don't have to look down on somebody else who is. That's none of your business and not your hair, not your body. Okay. Also, somebody saying like it's dirty. It's like, do you think people don't wash their bonnets? That's beside the point. Thank you. The Crown Act. Thank you. The Crown Act. Yes. Like, do you think people don't wash their bonnets? And I was like, it's no more dirty than wearing a hat outside. Hopefully you wash that too. Ooh, this. Let's not talk about what it's like having locks. Black and white people have criticized my hair. I'm sure. Because there's a lot of stigma that comes with locks. It's a lot of stigma that comes with natural hair because we've been taught to hate it so much. You know what I'm saying? So, yes. Okay. Moving on. We're almost done, y'all. I promise. So again, for me, we're so obsessed with looks, it's sad. We literally throw people out based on how they look and make whole assumptions about people we don't even know based on their look. And we all do it. Right? I do it too. And on some level, I think it's important to do that because if you have an experience where you've been traumatized by somebody and you see a person who acts like, has the same qualities as this person, you're probably going to be less, I don't want to hang out with you, right? I feel like that's wisdom. Right? But making whole assumptions about people is problematic. Again, Black women don't owe you beauty, especially not in the grocery store, period. But like, it was a joke. But like, seriously, they don't owe you anything. Obviously, we're not talking about work. Like people kept saying like, oh, well, you would wear a bonnet to work. Obviously not, silly. Like this is not what we're talking about, right? This has nothing to do with you. Just mind your business and love them, right? I got a lot of questions and assumptions. You must not be married, as if me being attached to a man alleviates stress from my life. You must be homeless. Even if I was, does that make what I'm saying any less relevant? I thought about correcting them, right? I thought about correcting them and saying, actually, I don't live in a tent, right? But I left it. I thought about correcting them and saying, actually, I am married, right? But I also don't want to weaponize. Okay, it's my thoughts. I don't want to weaponize marriage and say like, oh, because I am married, I am worthy. Or because I don't live in a tent, I am worthy to be listened to, right? So I allow people to sit in their own biases, their own projections, their own assumptions of me, because I want them to believe whatever they want to believe, right? Because obviously you're proving my point in that you don't think people who are unmarried, or unwed, or people who are, unhoused are worthy of being listened to or respected. Or respected. Due to the laws, it was against the law. Yes. It was against the law for Black women to show their hair in public in New Orleans. Meanwhile, they just passed the Crown Act here in Cali. Just passed the Crown Act. Yes. Thank you for sharing that. Yes. The issue, if Black women get totally free, the whole system may fall apart. Speak the truth. Our subservient maintenance is much needed. Ooh, that's a word. And it's true. Fair. And so, like I'm saying, like at work, like if you work at a place where it has like, what do you call it? Dress codes and things like that. Well, yeah, duh. You can't wear it there. But yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that though. If people really understood the true nature of revelations, the system is done, finished. Yes, a word. Single Black women are treated horribly in the corporate world. Yeah, they are. The only saving grace is the idea of being mobile. Wow. Yeah, I agree. And even them valuing people who are married. There was like a study done on like why people who are married get jobs more than people who are unwed, right? And so the idea, I'm paraphrasing. I think the idea is that if you are married and have kids and you have more responsibilities, and that means that you're less likely to leave this job, right? So even in them valuing people who are married or whatever, like even in them valuing that, they're really just valuing their work, right? They don't really value them or their families, because if they did, then they would get better PTO, better, maternity leave, paternity leave, all these different things. They don't really care about these people. They care about their work, right? So yes, I agree. I'm sorry about that. That's why I didn't correct them, because I'm just like, even if I wasn't married, okay, and you know what I'm saying? So, okay. All right. So again, looking for reasons to invalidate what I'm saying. As if, again, me being single, head wrapped, poor, a black woman would justify your harsh words, mistreatment, and invalidation. And that's exactly why I opted out, right? Because I'm not interested in a hierarchy. I'm not interested in seeing people as less than me just because they don't look like me, sound like me, they don't have the same background as me, the same education as me. Like, I'm not a part of that. I'm not a part of that. Then I got pushback for loving myself and my blackness. And I don't think this was from a black person. I don't know who this was from. Because again, avatars, you can be anybody you want to be on the internet. But I'm not going to apologize for loving my blackness. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. I love being black. I love my people. I love my culture. I love all of it, right? And only black people are told that you're too prideful if you say that you love your blackness. That's another conversation for another day. I'm loving myself at every stage and every level in every article of clothing is revolutionary. It's revolutionary to me, right? Like, y'all want to humble black women specifically so bad, and we just got around to loving ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have literally heard my boss say that they wanted a married person because they are more easily controlled. Yes, because they need the job versus someone who is single. Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, they're not these people who are benevolent and like, oh yeah, we're for families. No, you're not. You're for labor. You're for labor. And it is true. Like, if you have a family, you're less likely to take a chance, to take risky behavior, right? So they're going to hire people who are married and with kids because they want to know that you're here for the long haul, that we can use you and abuse you. And obviously, every job is not like that. But anyway, yes. Okay. Okay, so black women just got around to loving themselves, and y'all are triggered and offended. Get over it. We're here. We're here. I'm loving it. I'm loving what I'm seeing, right? And again, only black women are told to humble themselves. Why? Poor K. Because it's almost like, how dare a black woman love themselves? How dare you think you're beautiful? Not looking like that. Not in a bonnet. How dare you have self-worth and self-respect? How dare you say no? How dare you opt out of a system that seeks to overwork you? How dare you? Black women, don't you know who you are? You were created to work. You were created to be the footstool. You were like, this is how people think. And their thoughts come out based on their comments. Like, how dare you love yourself? You're not beautiful. How dare you love yourself and you're overweight? What? Negro, if you don't go somewhere, sit down. And it be the black men. It be the black men. Which is telling. It be the black men. Because obviously you don't love yourself. You don't love yourself. You couldn't love yourself. This part, that part, dark-skinned woman. How dare you have more self-esteem than me? That. How dare you? Wow. The reason why it is that black women who hate themselves are desperate for men's love. Wow. Honestly, Okay, obviously, come on now, SOZB. You know, if you're not the person, let it fly. I'm not talking about you. You know what I mean? Like, let it fly. I'm talking about my comment section. Telling me as a black woman to humble myself has been black men. It has been black men. I'm sorry. Like, I wish it wasn't so. I wish. But it is. Minus this one person who basically told me that loving blackness is idolatry or something like that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So anyway. No, it wasn't you. It was somebody else. I can't remember his name. But either way, moving on. Y'all got to see the FD Signifier video on the black manosphere. My man went in on the black misogynist. Oh, I got to check it out. I haven't watched it because I think it's long, and I wanted to make sure that I could actually sit and digest all of it. So I'll check it out. Thank you for sharing that. Yes. Okay. And when we take agency and pride in our own hair, it's a threat to the systems and industries. That part. It's not profitable to love yourself. It's not profitable to love yourself. Excuse me. But when we take agency over and pride in our own hair, it's a threat to the systems and industries that have thrived off of our past hair persecution. That part. Ooh, the black men who aren't outwardly hateful are silent when other black men are hateful. And that makes me so sad. Because I'm like, you see, you want to say it's not all black men, right? But then when they in the comments, and I'm not talking about people who are here. Obviously, maybe you didn't see it. But no, like, even in the real world, you see your fellow black men tearing down other women, and you're saying, oh, it's not me, but you're watching and you're complicit. You're complicit. You support it. You obviously are not bothered that much because you're not doing nothing about it. You're not saying nothing. Oh, I don't like people that say like, oh, well, it wasn't me, but you were there. But you were there. Anyway. Okay. It is sad. It is sad. It's very sad. But yes, it is not profitable for you to love yourself. Just think about advertisements. It's always telling you, do more, get more, look different, whatever that different is. Like, and I'm not knocking makeup or whatever you want, right? But all advertisement is telling you, you lack, buy so that you can have. Everything around us is telling us that we're not enough, that we're not worthy. You know what I'm saying? So you loving yourself is literally destroying their money. It's literally destroying your money. Concerned. Hi. I am literally being triggered as we speak. I'm so sorry. People are so adamant and deliberate about trying to convince black women to hate themselves. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And that's why when I started my video, I said, I love all black people. Like, I don't care. Like, listen. Anyway. So, moving on. The truth is we have internalized this nonsense. We now judge each other based on markers that oppressive people gave us. Now we can only love our blackness if it's excellent, right? If it's overachieving, if it's wealthy, if it's well-spoken, right? This is the only way that we can love our blackness. So a lot of us are trying to earn our way out of being looked down on. Surprise, surprise, though, you always will be, right? Like, the system was not created for you. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't pursue what you want to pursue. If you want to be a doctor, be a doctor. You want to be a lawyer, be a lawyer, right? I'm not saying don't do any of those stuff. What I'm saying is that make sure that you have an internal understanding of who you are, whose you are, and make sure that you have that self-love. Because a person who does have self-love, let's say that I do become a doctor and I become wealthy, right? Even though the doctors we talk about, they be struggling, which is crazy to me. But let's say that I become wealthy and I'm a doctor. If I have enough in my practice, right? Like, I want to give. Maybe I'll open up a free clinic for somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe, I don't know, maybe I can give or just donate money, like my time, my resources, my understanding, my knowledge, educating people in my community who don't like to go to the doctor. You know what I'm saying? Like, putting it in layman's terms so people understand. Language used in a court system or language used in a hospital, right? Because a lot of people do this in learning about deaf studies and like sign language. There's this thing called a deaf nod. And so the idea is that like you nod like you know what they're talking about, but you don't because you're afraid of looking stupid or silly, right? So like, even though the deaf community has that, a lot of us have that. We just pretend we know what they're talking about. We don't know what they're talking about, right? And so then we're taking medications we don't understand. We are tied up legally and we don't know how we got here. We are signing contracts that we don't understand, right? And these people who are excellent have the ability to get that information, process it, and share it in a way that benefits their people, but they won't do it because it's too profitable to take advantage of other people. Like, so for me, I'm not saying don't become a doctor. What I am saying is that make that stuff accessible for your people. Whoever your people are. Because there's like, and me, again, back to me, Marcus. And this is, I want to keep bringing him up because we talked yesterday. But all this black excellence and people are still struggling. All this black excellence and people are still poor. People still don't understand things. People are still being taken advantage of in the music industry. Like all this black excellence. And all this chaos. So is it excellent? Is it excellent? That part. Do not recommend. I had to stop following a lot of YouTubers because I was tired of always being told that I need to buy more of this and that. Yeah. And I get it, right? Like it's everywhere. It's easy. The messaging is everywhere. There are a lot of like advertisements, even as an entrepreneur, as an artist or an artistpreneur, whatever, a mix of the both, right? There are a lot of people whose ads come up and they're like, you know, got this Ferrari and this car stuff. I don't even know cars. Okay. But like, I got this Ferrari and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, that's not what I want though. Like that's cute. That's nice. Like you're trying to appeal to my ego and be like, come and like get wealthy like me. But it's like, no, I want to make a living making an impact. You know what I'm saying? So that's not really going to resonate with me. So there are some people who I'm just like, nah. Wait, what? Knowledge. There's this, what is his name, baby? Please put his name in there. But yeah, there's this guy that's like, every video he does like knowledge. You need knowledge. If you want to be wealthy, read these books. It's like, sir, please stop. You're getting wealthy from selling courses to other people. Like, it's okay. It's okay. Okay. Anywho. Oh, no worries. No worries. Okay. Yes. Oh, that's another good one. All the hauls. Some people have hauls regularly on their channel. Let's be conscious consumers. Yeah. Yeah. Ty Lopez. That's his name. Ty Lopez. I mean, if you want to check him out, you can. But either way, like, he's always like knowledge. So it's an inside joke between me and Jamal. But anyway, okay. Yeah, so yes, here in my garage. Carmen, yes, you're on it. You're on it. You know exactly what we talk about. Okay. But yes, how dare you Black women love yourself, right? And so again, now we judge each other based on these markers because we inherently don't feel valuable. That's why I said this. That's why I said Blackness can only be excellent Blackness, right? It's Swift Gritty. Clarify for me, please. I don't know who that is. Oh, it's a person. My bad. Okay. So yes. So Blackness that is celebrated is usually wealthy, is usually overachieving, wealthy, well-spoken, etc. Right? And so that's why I said Black excellence for me is too heavy, narrow, and fragile. Right? So it's too heavy. It's too much work. Like it literally blocks everything that I like, the person that I want to be, right? It's too fragile that once I get it, it's so easy to lose. It's so easy to break. Like, it's so easy to fall from grace, right? And it's too narrow, meaning that I have to cut myself in half to get in the room. Like, I have to cut myself in half to like maneuver in here, and it's not comfortable. I don't even want to be here no more. My back hurt, you know, I'm going all in, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not worth it to me. I want to be rooted in truth because in the truth. And the truth is I am worthy. I am lovely. I am beautiful. I was born enough. I am a gift. I am precious. I deserve to be treated with love, respect, kindness, no matter what money I have in the bank, period. And so are you. That is the message, right? And so how much, so I'm looking at y'all comments, but how much they think they need the system, right? This idea, oh, well, that's how it's always been. That's what they said about slavery. That's what they said about Jim Crow, right? Like, that's what they said, like, oh, it's always been this way. But there were always people pushing against that idea, the system. Like, why are we laying down, taking stuff that we know is not right? People calling things necessary evils. I don't think anything evil is necessary. I don't believe that. I don't believe that anything necessary is evil. I mean, anything evil, is necessary. There is a way. There is a way that we can figure it out, but it's like, we have to get people to put their heads together to figure it out, but it's not profitable in the way that you want to be profitable to figure it out, right? So like, yes, we can put our heads together and figure out a different system, but that means some people are going to have to be okay with not having as much, right? And so some people don't want to give up what they have, their way of life, their money, their access, their resources. They want to have it for themselves because that stuff brings them value, right? And that's just some people. It's not everybody. But yeah. Yes, this is my opinion. Nothing that is evil is necessary. Or like people who say like, and I get it. It's figures of speech. It's, you know, cliches, that kind of stuff. Like necessary evils or what is the other one I hate? Or I don't hate it. I just don't like it. The devil's advocate. It's like, why does the devil need an advocate? Why are we doing this? Right? Like, why are we doing this? Just to be, yeah. So I get it. It's a figure of speech, but I don't like it. I hate it. Okay. So yes. So it's like, again, the ideal is what we're living in now, right? So like this idea of you're not a realist. Well, if people were a realist back in the day, then I would not be benefiting from the fruit of their labor today, right? Like, so the people who fought that I could be here, that I could have, you know, an equal opportunity, using air quotes, equal opportunity. The people that, you know, fought for access and things like that, like I'm benefiting from them because of their ideals. You see how that works? Like maybe we won't benefit from the system changing in our lifetime, but maybe people in the future could if we put our heads together and change it, right? But we have to care more about the people in the future than ourselves. Does that make, like, it's like, I get it. Like we're all inherently selfish. All of us are. Me too, right? Like we think about ourselves first, but it's like, if we want all of us to thrive and survive, then we have to put down some of that selfishness. We have to. That's the only way that's going to work. Okay. Because the truth is a lot of y'all are attracted to it because you don't know who you are without it. And that's the identity. That's your identity, right? Like you're too attached to access, resources, money, whatever, because that's who you are. You don't know who you are. So it's almost like someone snatching away your identity. And that feels scary. And that's hard. That's hard. You know, and I get it. It's hard, but you're worthy without it. I promise. Not saying you should give up everything. I'm just saying even if you lost everything, you would still be worthy. You would still be worthy. Aw. I appreciate that. Necessary evil and lesser of two evils are creations of a rigged game. That part. The terms don't even make sense. They don't make sense. Huh? Like, yes, have we been in positions where we have to choose the lesser of two evils? Some people would argue that about politics, right? Like, oh, well, I got to choose the lesser of two evils, like, right? But we're all acknowledging that it's evil, right? Like, we're all on the same page. So, yeah. I was told out of college that I had to work 10 years plus to deserve a salary above minimum wage because my manager had to do that. That's crazy. I'm sorry. That's crazy. It is the way of humility. Yes, it takes longer, that part. It takes longer, can't take pride along, but the reward is not having to compromise and make shortcuts and deal with the devils. Yes, deals with the devils. Yes, exactly. Exactly, being a realist. Harriet Tubman, Nat Turner, Sojourner Truth, the Haitians, etc. were not realists. They were not realists. I agree. One other thing I want to say, speaking of capitalism, a lot of people brought up Martin Luther King and Malcolm X as supporters of capitalism, and they were not. I'm sorry. I hate to break it to you, but they were not. I really implore you to go seek out their writings, seek out their ideas about the world, because they were not capitalists. They were not. And towards the end of Martin Luther King's life, he was fighting for people who were poor. Like, okay. Hated capitalism. Hated it. But people are using his name. And again, I have thoughts about people using Martin Luther King in general, because they only want to use the parts that are like convenient and soft and like, you know, acceptable. But they won't really do the work of like learning him and what he really thought about. And like what he did with his personal life, that's a whole other conversation, right? But like politically, they were not for capitalism. Yikes. Hi, Bruce Seymour. Welcome. Hello, Reed's Shelling Freedom Treatise. I don't have my glasses. Treatise. Where's my glasses? Oh, there they are. Yay. Okay, I will check that out. Thank you for sharing that. I'm gonna check that out. Okay. For sure. He was layered. That's why I was like, feel how you want to feel about his personal life. That aside, what he believed is not that. It's not that. They never want to bring up towards the end of his life where he was talking about he feared he integrated his people into a burning building. Oof. They won't. Because it's not convenient to their history. It's not. Okay. Malcolm X was definitely, hello. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, capitalists. And again, I feel like it was a reach. It was a stretch. Like you wanted to like get me, gotcha. What about these people? It's like, what about them? Like they don't support it either. Oh, Bruce, welcome. Thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate you. With your help, with all of you all's donations, I appreciate that. It really helps me to keep this going. And it means a lot to me that you would spend your energy, your hard-earned money, supporting me. That means a lot. Okay. Okay. All right. Yes. A lot of people call me lazy. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. I'll take it. I would truly refuse to believe that we're not smart enough to see nuance, to come up with a better solution than just laying down and taking it. Like, I refuse to believe, right? But at this point, I really feel like people just want it. I never claim to have the answers, right? I don't think that I have to have the answers. I'm just questioning things, challenging things, and getting us thinking. Like, I have an ideal of what I would like the world to look like, but everybody's probably not going to agree with that, right? Because they have their own priorities. I think that I can start moving forward towards a life that feels good to me, though, right? Like, I don't need people's permission to live a life that feels good to me. I think the first step is finding them and then asking the questions. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like we're always trying to, like, do I want to make an impact on the world? Absolutely. But I also feel like if I start with my own microcosm, like myself and my community, if I'm generous, if I'm helpful, if I am encouraging in that way, then it's like a ripple effect, right? That what I do, shout out to Makeda. What I do is if I'm dropping a pebble in the lake, and she brought up this example, so shout out to you. It's like the ripples keep going. So we think that the small thing that we're doing, right? The small thing that we're doing doesn't matter, but it does. You smiling at somebody changes the world. You being kind to someone changes the world. You being generous. You don't have to be a Martin Luther King, a Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to be these people to make change. You have the power to make change in your everyday life. And that's how we get started, right? Like, that's how we make the change in the world that we want to make. Okay. So yeah, so I never claim to have all the answers. I'm just talking about me, right? And my thoughts and my ideas. The message of the video was to love yourself and others, and people are fighting in the comments. That's fine. Okay, PWI versus the HBCU. We got to talk about this real quick. When I was responding to comments about Black excellence and all this other stuff, and people were bringing up HBCUs and stuff like that, and again, I did not attend an HBCU, so I'm gonna say that first. I attended PGCPS, Prince George's County Public Schools, and though it is not an HBCU, it is a very Black county, right? So it's a very Black county. So I grew up around all Black people. When I went to my school, which was Towson University in Baltimore, it's a white school, and it was culture shock for me, right? And I had that experience of visiting other HBCUs and stuff like that, seeing the culture and how it's different and how people interact and all this other stuff, right? Like, but I never, in my mind, I'm like, okay, Black people get an education, wonderful, great, right? Like, get your education and keep on going, right? And now I'm coming back to the conversation that has been happening over and over again. What? Mr. Prodigy, nothing to talk about. Your children will pay the price. Can you expand? What do you mean? Okay, so that was your HBCU experience. Wait, that was your HBCU experience. That's how I feel. But I know it's not the same as going to a college. But okay, can I just say this though? Growing up in PG County, Maryland, growing up there, like, I was able to see Black people of all backgrounds, all educations, like all, like, blue collar, white collar, everything in between, right? Like, I was able to see all those people, right? And so we have to understand how much of a privilege it is to even go to college. Money, resources, right? Like, support, like, it's a privilege to go to college, period. A lot of people can't go because they can't afford it. And so for me to use my degree to flex on people, I don't like doing that. And I also, again, whatever. But hearing this conversation online about how you're not Black enough if you didn't go to an HBCU has me questioning, like, what's happening? Like, what is going on? Why are we debating who is Black enough based on the school they went to? What does that have to do with Blackness? What does that have to do with anything? How I feel? Shout out to you. Somebody said they were a Morganite. Hey, yes, I'm a Morganite. I'm surprised you chose Towson over Morgan. I chose the money. At the end of the day, okay, I was looking at like local to where I was, again, near PG. So like Howard, University of Maryland, College Park, Towson was on the list because they have deaf studies. So a lot of schools also, to be fair, didn't teach ASL or deaf studies, right? It was more like I would go there for creative writing or music or something. But Towson was the only school in the state that had that I was able to study ASL and deaf studies, right? But even still, the HBCUs that I was looking at a lot of them were private institutions, and they were expensive. $23,000, like, was it a semester? And I'm like, ain't no way in the world. How am I pay that back? Right? Like, so for me, it was a financial choice. It was financial, and not saying that I didn't come out unscathed, because I definitely have debt. But at the end of the day, it was like, how much debt do you want? That's what it came down to. How much debt do you want? Right? But seeing this conversation about people tussling about who is Black enough and who is not, or who is more educated or who is not, because the same conversation happens the other way around too. Like, people looking down on HBCUs, right? Because it's like, oh, you went to a Black school, so it's less legitimate. So it's like, what are you saying about yourself, right? But either way, these conversations really highlight exactly what I'm feeling and talking about. It's never enough. The goalpost is always moved. Like, your Blackness is always in limbo, like based on how people feel today. You know what I'm saying? Like, or calling us sellouts because we chose a place that gave us, okay, yeah, that's probably why I didn't look, because they didn't have deaf studies. That makes sense. Yeah. But yeah, like, again, to me, it's a silly debate. It's a silly conversation. I think that some of it is done in jest, obviously, and that's fine. But people are taking that very seriously. And for me, it's like, why can't we just celebrate Black people getting an education, period? Why does it matter where they got it from? Who cares? Exploit the systems. Why are black people why are black people paying to have to go, why are black people having to pay to go to college in the first place? That should be the fight. That should be the question. Why are we paying to go to school, period? Right? Like, but no, we want to argue with each other because it's easy. If I keep you distracted, you're not going to fight the wars that actually matters. If I keep you distracted, right? It's like, I don't know. I mean, sure. Great. Fine. That's fine. On both ends, right? But it's like, if I keep you distracted, y'all aren't going to fight for what actually really matters. It doesn't matter. You got your education. Great. Now celebrate each other and go on. Because at the end of the day, we're all exploiting the system either way. You know what I'm saying? We're all here to get a degree to use to be hired. Like, anywho, that's just my own thoughts. Okay. All right. So again, it's like you're telling me, like, you can't tell me that a hierarchy doesn't exist, though. You can't do that. You can't tell me that a hierarchy doesn't exist, but then also support this HBCU versus PWI conversation, right? We're both educated. That's the message. I'm a PWI alum, and we had one of the best Black student professor communities within that school. Changed my life. Separate graduation ceremony with our kente cloth. That's cool. That's dope. And it's cool because honestly, even though I went to a PWI, like, because the Black community was even smaller, right? We still had Black community because we were like, oh, it's like you see somebody, it's like, oh, you're my friend, right? Don't leave me out here by myself, right? So we still had that fostered community. No, it wasn't HBCU, right? But we still had that Black community. And for me, that was enough because, again, I grew up in a Black community. And so I gravitated towards Black people. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, okay. All right. So you don't have to agree with me. Obviously, this is not an echo chamber, but some of y'all's responses were embarrassing, disturbing, and discouraging. And if this is how you feel about your fellow man or Black excellence, then I made the right decision. It's ugly, it's violent, it's oppressive, it's exploitative, right? I choose love, period, right? And some questions people have, will I make money? Yes. I want to make money, right? And I want to make money for myself, but also to be generous to my community. There are too many people I know, especially my family, that have worked so hard and should not be struggling like they are today. And it's not because they made bad decisions. It's not because they chose to be poor. It's because they were exploited. You know what I'm saying? And so, yes, I want to make money so I can take care of my family, so they don't have to work no more. I would love to have enough money to pay off my mom's house. I would love to have enough money to retire my aunt. I would love to have enough money so my people don't have to work no more. Love that. I would love that, right? So yes, I want to make money. I also want to help people. I want to help Black women, period. One of my dreams is to create a compound where people can live in tiny houses and pay off their houses like that, right? Like where people can live, like, and live with dignity, right? Not like impoverished situations, like, and that stuff takes money. So yes, I want money, but I want to use it for the right things. I never said I'm anti-money. Money gives us options, access, and ease, right? And those are all the things I want. And making money ethically has nothing to do with Black excellence. Like it's possible to make a living and not exploit people. It's possible to make money and not make people feel like trash. It's possible. It's just gonna be different. You know what I'm saying? Like, cooperating instead of competing. There's no need to compete when you cooperate. There's no need to, like, I can be a florist on this corner, you can be a florist on that corner, and we can share flowers so we don't have to run out of flowers. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's like we're competing and we're cutting our legs from underneath of us. Like, okay. Again, you can make money ethically. It just might be different. Let's see. Yeah, I agree. I mean, capitalism, yeah, I agree. This rhetoric is harmful to Black people. No way this is being co-signed. That's your opinion. You're entitled to your opinion. I disagree with you wholeheartedly, but go off. Okay, so yes, I'm an artist. I'm sensitive about my stuff. No, but I'm an artist, right? Like, and artists are some of the least paid people. Sadly, because people don't value art, right? But art isn't everything. We talked about this before. Art isn't everything, and I think I deserve to be paid for the art that I create. Like, I deserve to be paid for that, right? I deserve to be paid for the work that I do. I need money to live well, give to others, and impact the world. I'm not just going to exhaust myself and screw other people over getting it. That's not worth it to me. That's not worth it to me. I'm going to come up with a different system for myself, right? And maybe it's going to take trial and error. Maybe I will fail. Maybe it won't work out. Maybe it will. But either way, I'm willing to try. I'm willing to try something different. You know what I'm saying? Something different where I don't have to compete with other people. I don't have to bulldoze other people. I don't have to, you know what I'm saying? Like, because even when we talk about competition, it's inherently evil, right? It's like this idea that like, oh, again, with the florist example, I have to buy out this florist so they're not competition anymore. And but if I'm making money at this floral shop, if I'm making enough, I don't have to compete with homegirl on the corner or homeboy on the corner at the florist. We can both exist. Okay. I have no idea. I think honestly, let me take that back. Why are people mad at her for doing something different? I think people are mad. I think people are triggered, I will say. I don't know if it's mad, but I think people are triggered because they don't want to strive either. I think the truth is people don't want to strive, and when you choose not to strive for yourself, I'm trying to say this right. People get triggered because you opt out of a system that they feel like they have to participate in. You don't get to be free. You don't get to do what you want to do because I got to do what I want to do, right? It's that mentality like if I have to suffer, so do you. I really feel like a lot of people feel that way because a lot of people in the comment section sound miserable. They sound like they don't love themselves because if you loved yourself, you would not be talking to me this way, right? You would not be calling me out my name. You would not be equating your worth, your value, to how much money you make. And let's talk about value, right? Value is subjective, Value is subjective. If I don't want a phone, it's not valuable to me, right? Like, if I have 20/20 vision, glasses are not valuable to me. People have choice in what they value. And some people will not choose to value you, right? But that don't mean that you don't value you. You have to make that choice yourself. You feel me? So anyway. All right, moving on. Who's children? Oh, y'all having a conversation. Gave up on Black excellence, a particular idea that is damaging to the Black community. The concept is separating from a destructive idea. Anyway. Not really sure what's happening. Okay. They're fighting for a system that doesn't benefit them and they're still lost in the sauce. Instead of accepting it, they want to criticize you for calling it out. Absolutely. And the thing is, I'm not looking down on people who are playing the game. I'm not. I get it. You got to survive. You got to eat. You feel me? But I think in my mind, even if you are playing the game, play that game. Like, what is it from Players Club? Make that money. Don't let that money make you, right? Like, play the game, right? But in all that getting and playing, don't forget who you are. Don't lose yourself. And also don't judge other people because they choose not to play that game. You feel me? Like, we all make our own personal decisions based on what we have to do. What we have to do, right? And so, again, privilege gives you the option to make a choice. That's what I'm very clear about. But again, don't look down on other people because they choose something else. But also, there are other people who want you to choose something different. There are other creators online on this internet that we've been gifted with who will show you a way out. I need to make a list. I need to make a video of all the women I watch on YouTube because they're all phenomenal. Shout out, honestly, some of y'all are here. True Mystique, Stephanie Perry was here earlier. Deanne, I thought I just saw you. Yes, Deanne Matthews, True Mystique, Vitamin Key or Key. In my mind, I say Key, like, because I pronounce it. Level Up, Single Mom. Where y'all at? But there are a lot of people. If you make content, please share. Because there are so many Black women out there that I follow, and I'm like, y'all are dope. Each one of y'all have your own. Yes, absolutely. Each one of you all have your own like magic. It's like your own puzzle piece, right? Like every piece is valuable and it makes up this great puzzle. Shout out to my mom. She be doing puzzles all the time. But like it makes up a great puzzle, right? A great masterpiece, like a mosaic. But like you have to show up and do your part. Oh, yay. Okay, you're still here. Awesome. Yes. Yes. Vitamin Key, Level Up, Single Mom. Yes, yes, absolutely. Picky Girl Travels. Yes, Colette. Thank you, Colette. Yes, Colette is here. Um, yes, please. Again, if you create, please share it. Please share it because you deserve to be heard and seen, and what you have to share is valuable. Yes, absolutely. I will. I will. Absolutely. Absolutely. I will make a video for sure. Okay. Okay. All right. So going back to the, okay. Yes. I need money. I want money. Yes, I'm just going to do it in an ethical way. And so people have been exchanging goods since the beginning of time and not killing each other. It's possible. It happens. Oh, yes, the Nat Ministry. Thank you so much. The Nat Ministry is Trisha Hersey. You can follow her on Twitter, on Instagram. She also has a book coming out. She also has a book coming out in October, next month. The Nat Ministry is amazing. Please check her out and her work. Phenomenal. Yes. Oops, sorry. The beautiful thing about actually doing the work is we know the possibilities. Yeah. People can sit all day and say exploitation is inevitable. Glasses, girl, glasses. Exploitation is inevitable, but those doing the work to defy that know ourselves. Absolutely. Agreed. Okay. Oh no, you were timed out? I'm sorry. I didn't see your comments. I didn't do it. Sorry. Okay, so yes, there are ethical ways. So in my mind, when people say that it's always been this way, I have to do this to make money. Yes, Rashida Dow, thank you. Sheeta's on a loose. Picky Girl Travels the World. That's another person. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. And this is what it's about. Community. This is exactly what I'm talking about. There is no competition. There is no competition. Thank you. Okay. So yes. Huh? Because I accept that capitalism is exploitative, I do not, or is it exploitative? Either way. I do not want my children to be at the mercy of that system. Thus I participate to achieve an advantage that they can be. Absolutely. I got nothing wrong with that. I don't think anything's wrong with that, John Smith. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, people playing the game. It's just about your mindset, looking down on other people or yourself, right? Like, not basing your worth or value on what you create, the work that you do. All right. Let me hurry up and get through. Okay. All right. So in my mind, when we think about, like, I have to compete with people, I have to destroy people, I have to ruin people in order to be successful, to me is barbaric. It's dehumanizing. It's barbaric, right? This idea that we have to be violent in order to be successful. People have been exchanging goods since the beginning of time and not killing each other. Okay. So again, we're competing because somebody created the competition. There is no lack in resources. We talked about that. It's all fake. Everything is a lie. I need a piece of paper like Carly read. It was all a lie. Like, everything is a lie. Who does competing benefit, right? Who created the competition? Again, shout out to Marcus. Sorry, Marcus, you're like the co-host at this point. But like, this idea that the crab in a barrel mentality, people keep saying that, like, oh, it's crabs in a barrel, right? And I agree, right? This idea, but like, who created the barrel? Why are the crabs in the barrel? They're supposed to be in the ocean. Why are the crabs in the barrel? Who created the barrel? We're supposed to be in the ocean if we're the crabs, right? So like, we have to talk about the systems in place that support this idea of competition. We didn't just come up with it. It didn't just like this is I can't speak. A co-host status. I know that's right. But yeah, it just appear out of the ether. Like it was created. The barrel was created. The system was created. The competition was created. Okay, so love people, use money, not love money and use people. Somebody commented that in the exactly. Crabs don't belong in a barrel. And yet we use that all the time. Marcus on the main line. That's funny. But yes, like, this idea, right? This idea. Why are we in the barrel? Anyway, so again, love people, use money, not love money and use people. Somebody commented that in my comment section, and I was like, perfect. I can't say that any better. That's basically the paraphrase version or the sentence TLDR version of the video. love people, use money. Not love money, use people. Yes. And sadly, in this world, we use people often. And so again, Black excellence being defined as we generally understand that in a lot of ways, again, like we talk about the auction block. You are not your work. Okay. You're not your work. You're not what you do. You are you. Like, do you know who you are outside of what you do for others? That's a question I want you to ask yourself. Do you know who you are? Do you know who you are? You know what I'm saying? Yes, the minimalists. I listen to them too sometimes. Yes. But yeah, do you know who you are? So again, this idea, right? Again, going back to slavery mentality, this idea, because back in the day, you were your work. You were worth how much work you did. You were worth that. Your literal, like the numbers they wrote next to the name of people being enslaved was based on how productive they were for the people who enslaved them, right? So a lot of that thinking has been passed down to us through generations. And it makes sense because slavery was not that long ago. It was yesterday. You feel me? And so I feel like even these conversations about the bonnet or about looking presentable or respectable or having a good job because then you'll like a lot of that stems from enslavement. A lot of it. Because we think that if we look right, if we sound right, if we dress correctly, right? Like if we carry ourselves with dignity and class, if we, you know what I'm saying, if we're educated, if we do the oppressing instead of being oppressed, that somehow we have made it. Does that make sense? Okay. Yes. Okay. Anyway, it's not, but I'm talking about Black people, so that's the slavery I'm talking about. But yes, it is not the only slavery. Slavery is not unique to Black people, but slavery here is very unique. Slavery, like, okay, that's a whole other conversation. I'm sorry. Okay, we'll get to that later. Do you think your parents or grandparents were protecting you from this world by passing down these ideas or keeping you enslaved? Absolutely. Listen, the thing is, with all my privilege, living in 2022, I have no idea what it's like to live in 1965. I have no idea. I have no idea what it's like to live in 1912. That's the year my great grandmother was born. I have no idea, right? And so for these people, I think they were passing down this stuff not to be enslaved, but to survive. My people were surviving, okay? Even with, I've heard this like from other artists, like their parents not understanding their art and like, oh, well, my parents don't get me. Well, girl, they're afraid of you being homeless. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't necessarily not support your art and your dream, right? They want to keep you safe. They don't want you to be out on the street by yourself. That's what they think of artists because maybe in their past, that's what they've seen. You feel me? So it's like, on one hand, it's like, I can understand it and appreciate it. But on the other hand, I can also be like, you know what? I want to challenge that thought. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay. It's fine. I did see something. Competition was created on the day Satan wanted God's seat. Meanwhile, God himself works in such perfect collaboration that he is one God in three persons. That part. Mic drop. That part. I thought that was a dab. That's all right. It's okay. I understand when you said cough elbow. I get it. I understand. But I also do understand not wanting to be a part of the game, and I respect that because I'm definitely not the definition of Black. Yeah. I mean, again, get it how you live in, right? Get like, honestly, do what you got to do. But this is just about the heart. That's it. You know? It's just the heart. Okay. Okay. Again, obviously, people took a well-meaning video to say that you're worthy and enough and took the opportunity to put others down, which was very disheartening. Very disheartening. And so, again, people who need to put other people down to feel big about themselves really do feel small. I mean, it's what they taught us in grade school. It's true. People who put other people down need to do that. They need to do that to feel small. To feel small. I mean, to feel big, excuse me. To feel big. And that means that you have no self-worth of your own. It's always based on somebody else, right? I think we're getting to the end. Okay. So Black people need to compete, right? This idea of competition. And this argument has been used in a lot of different circles and areas. And the competition I'm talking about now is like cutthroat. I need to take over everything. What's very clear to me is that people don't want to be free. They want to be the oppressor. people don't want to be free and set others free. They want to be the one oppressing people. Like, that's very clear to me. Based on comments and conversations, people don't want liberation. They want to oppress. They want that power. They envy that power that they see other people putting on them, and they think that liberation is becoming them, right? And so if that's how you're thinking, we're not going to agree at all, right? Because no. Also, what's wrong with people being average? What's wrong with Black people being average? Why is that such like a triggering word for people? Like, what's wrong with Black people being average? Why don't we get the grace to be average? Why do we have to be excellent? If we're not excellent, we're failures. Why does it mean that I'm either excellent or failure? There's no in between. Like, there's no in between. It's like either I have made it in the way that you think that excellence is, or I'm just not, I just don't deserve to exist. What's wrong with being average? What's wrong with doing the bare minimum? What's wrong with doing what my job requires and going home? What's wrong with that? They not paying me for extra. What's wrong with that? Yes, I agree. A lot of us harbor anti-Black sentiments and repackage it as Black excellence. That part. The pressure to perform has been and still unaliving us. I agree. Because it's believed that Black is inherently wrong. Absolutely. Having this conversation is Black. Oh, yay. That makes me happy. I love conversations. Once I accepted that much of the Black community just wants to replace white people as conquerors, that's when I stopped blindly supporting any Black person, excuse me. I agree. It's like, what is the goal here? What is the goal? Like, because if it's that, I don't want it. I don't want to oppress people. I'm not interested. Oh, God. Reminds me of that period. Girl, Black celebrities are bigging her up, but they would never big up an average. But never. If a Black woman did that, please. Oh, what happened? Telling Black women how to speak and how to articulate themselves is a form of microaggression. It is based in both racism and chauvinism. John Smith, what you doing in these comments? Anyway. Okay. Yes. Okay. Hold on one second. The Woman King exposed something about us. Oh, excuse me. Something about us we don't want to talk about. Sorry. Okay. The Woman King exposed something about us we don't want to talk about, which is that we aren't that much different than white people. Ooh, shake the table. Shake the table. Oh, he's trolling. Being mediocre is okay, but don't denounce excellence. All right. I said something, and this might not be, but I said y'all are calling me unrealistic, but you're chasing approval from white folks, and they're never going to give it to you. And people talk about Black excellence is not about the white gaze. I'm sorry, but again, who created the system? Who created the standards for excellence? Was it us? Did we do that? Did we come together as Black people and say, you know what, this is what excellence is to us? We had like a meeting, and everybody met up and said, oh, you know what? We don't have to value this because they value it. Let's value something else. Did we do that? Like, when did we decide that this is Black excellence? Black excellence is very much about the white gaze. I hate to break it to you. And I'm not even saying this as a again, I keep saying judgment, but it's true. But also I get it, because if you're trying to assimilate, if you're trying to survive, you're going to do that by playing the game. So I'm not calling people bad for doing it. You're doing it because you have to, right? Because of survival. But to say that if it's not based in the white gaze is a lie. It is a lie. Whatever. Like, again, why do we need all this okay, one question I had, excuse me, about Black excellence is like, Black excellence is the notion that there is some sort of Black inferiority, that somehow just being Black and existing is inferior. Like, if there is Black excellence, there is a belief that you just existing as a Black person means you're inferior, right? And so then you have to excel to come into excellence. Does that make sense? I hope what I'm saying is making sense. Yes. Okay. Ooh, that part. It's 2022 and we're still having the first black such and such. The fact that people don't find that disgusting is weird to me. When I see the first black blank, I'm like, I'm not impressed. I'm actually embarrassed. I'm not impressed. There are people in this chat that are doing well that are not doing it for white approval. I'm not talking about them. It's okay, John. It's all right. I feel like you want to argue. I don't want to argue. I'm not interested in that. I'm happy. I took a shower. I'm on my jammies. I'm drinking tea. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to go eat pizza with my family. I don't want to argue with you, John. You seem like you want to be, contrary just to be contrary. I don't like that. That's not fun. It's kind of annoying. I feel like you understand what I'm saying is what I'm trying to say. Okay. So I'm going to wrap it up because it's getting late. Okay. So my idea, why you want to argue? You want to argue? But for real, like, I'm not saying that to be rude, John. I'm really saying, like, I think you're trying to miss my point on purpose. And that's frustrating. Yeah, you're being respectful, but you're also kind of being, it's okay. It's okay, John. Okay. So anyway, like I said, I'm putting my energy into things that are fruitful. So let me just, okay. What? Why you cut your hair, Cynthia G? Is Cynthia G here? Because I'm not she. I am not her. Anywho, okay. Let's see. Yes, so again, one thing I do want to say, this is kind of an aside. When people say, like, black excellence, like, people use this phrase to be like, oh, this black father is taking care of their kids, or this person is, doing what is supposed to be done. And it's like, oh, black excellence, right? So for me, it's like, okay, I'm for fathers being in their children's lives if they are beneficial to their kids, right? I think for me, it's just really hard because black excellence to me is just that I see being celebrated is like, on one hand, it's like excel, but on the other hand, it's like doing what you're supposed to be doing, right? Like, so for me, I'm kind of lost. All blacks look the same to, ooh, you finna get blocked. I don't know. Whoever got the wrench, Jamal, can you please handle that? Appreciate you if you're still here. Okay. So yes, like that sounds like bare minimum, right? Like it's bare minimum. It's like that's black excellence. Anywho. So it seems like for some people, black excellence is like the bare minimum. For some people, black excellence is like going above and beyond. And I feel like there's some misogynoir in there somewhere. I'm gonna just be honest. That's just my own opinion. Yes. So it's not in to be generous, to be generous or to give, because it's not profitable to be generous, right? It's not profitable. It's not profitable to be generous. That's why people are selfish. It's because people are selfish. What I'm very clear about at the end of all this, yes, we are here. Okay, we're at the end. Again, like I said, with all this black excellence, why are there still poor people? Why are there still people who are struggling? Why are there still ghettos? Why is there still like violence happening in our communities? Why, like, with all this excellence, right? With all this getting, I feel like with all this getting understanding, that's Proverbs. But either way, like with all this stuff, right? With all these, I always want to say like accoutrements. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it, but whatever. With all these things that we acquire, the medals, the gold, the money, the fame, the access, it's like, but we still struggling? How that make sense? How does that make sense, right? Are we any better? Are we any better? Or are we just inherently more selfish? After all this work, we're trying to integrate instead of build our own stuff. Like, we talk about black excellence all we want to, but a lot of it is about assimilating. A lot of it is about being like the people who don't like us. So is it really black excellence that we're striving for? Is that what we should really call it? Is that black excellence? Is that what black excellence requires? Right? Like, exactly. Competition, not collaboration. Right? Like, collaborate. That, like, we've always been a collaborative people, a communal people. Like, okay. Again, most of the world before it was touched by colonialism was collaborative, was communal. You know what I'm saying? So exactly. We're begging for acceptance. Exactly. And the game was rigged from the start. Absolutely. Will this live be? Yes, it will. So if you have to go, I understand it's like 10 o'clock. Well, it's 10 o'clock where I am. So if you have to go to, I understand, have a good evening. But yes, it will be up. It'll stay up. Yes. Okay. Okay. So people are mad at you for being free. People are mad at me for seeking freedom when they can be free too. I don't want to be. And the thing is, like, you can say that you're free, but if you're enslaved to your things, your money, if you're enslaved, like, you can be enslaved to your possessions, your ideas, right? Like your ideals, you can be a slave to those things, then you're not free. If you're upset that somebody else is seeking freedom, you're not free. You're not free. If you're talking about people wearing bonnets, you're not free. Like, you're not free. You are in possession of that thing, of those ideals, of those ideas. You're not free. You're not liberated. You're tied to these things. And the thing is, we all are on some level. It takes a lot of unlearning, right? Because the culture is around us. Our families are teaching it to us. We learn it in school, right? Like, a lot of stuff has indoctrinated our very being. And it takes a lot of work to undo all of that, right? And so the thing is, it's not a rush. It's not a race, right? It's not about who is the most, using air quotes, woke, which I never say. People have been calling me that all week, and it's been cringy every time. But like, it's not a competition of knowledge or of wisdom, right? Like, it's about collaborating, taking other people's ideas, chewing on it, figuring out, do you resonate with this? Does this make sense to you? Questioning things that you think have always been. Why are things like that? Who benefits from this? Why do I think this way about myself? Why am I triggered that other people are succeeding? What is that about, right? Like, why, again, for myself, why do I feel less than when another woman is taking up space? Because I don't believe that I can take up space. But the truth is, I can. It was a choice, right? It's more than just a choice. But like, I had to do the work to learn that, oh, I actually am qualified to take up space. I am worthy of that, right? Like, I am worthy. But I had to do the internal work. And what I also realized, and at the end of the day, this is the whole point, right? Like, the whole point. If people actually love themselves, a lot of this stuff could be fixed. A lot of this, people can only love you and the thing is, I used to disagree with this when people said, like, oh, if you don't love yourself, you can't love other people. Because I loved other people and I didn't love myself. But what that also meant was that I didn't set boundaries for people. I had no boundaries because I didn't love myself, right? Like, and so when you love somebody, you do give them boundaries. So giving boundaries is love, right? Like, love for self, but also love for other people. Because when I don't give boundaries, right? Like, if I didn't give people boundaries, I would be irritated by them, right? And they would be offended, not because of something they did, but because I didn't put my foot down and set my boundary and say, no, I don't want to do this. You know, does that make sense? So like, anyway, so I didn't have boundaries. And so what I'm realizing is that if people don't love themselves, they can't love me. People can only love people as far as they love themselves, because it's a reflection. Like, when you see other people, you see the reflection of yourself. You see the reflection of yourself. If you hate yourself and you think that you have to earn your worth, like somebody said in my comment section, which broke my heart, it grieved me. When somebody said, you don't have inherent value for existing, if you believe that about yourself, you will definitely believe that about everybody else who does not benefit you. You will definitely believe that. And so with all the going back and forth and like trying to make my point, and like, again, it falling on deaf ears and all this, me being exhausted, I came to the point where I'm just like, this is a show of a lack of self-love. It has nothing actually to do with my video. It has nothing actually to do with me. It has everything to do with them. And my hope, my goal, right, is that people would begin to love themselves. Because if you loved yourself, if you were really free and you really loved yourself, you would go for the things you want to go for in life. You would love other people. You would love yourself. You would be generous. You wouldn't exploit other people, right? If you did that work of learning to love yourself for who you are, minus all the extra stuff, right? Then you would love other people. So I'm trying to do work for people who either are not in a place right now to hear it, for people who are not in a place to have their heart examined and changed. And that's not my work to do, right? My work is to show up and to be who I'm called to be in this moment, in this place. And if people don't resonate with it, it's not my job to drag you with me. Shout out to Deanne. Like, she was talking about, and I know this is kind of like an aside, but she was talking about Christians and how they can be colonizers with their faith, right? Like they like the whole, you know, going out and evangelizing on the street and all this other stuff. Like it's very reminiscent of colonization, right? But like we're going above and beyond what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to just be living. And if somebody asks a question, okay, then wonderful, right? But like this forcing it on people is not going to work. Like I know that my work is just, again, making that little pebble and it flowing out, living every single day with love. I want to love people for a living. That means I have to love in all that I do, and with my mom, my husband, my friends, like, right? Like that is how you change the world. I post a video and like people are upset. Let them be upset. That's okay. Hopefully one day they come around to the fact that they can love themselves. That it's possible to love themselves. Hopefully. But I don't have to be somebody's punching bag on their way there. That I don't have to sit and take verbal abuse or have people literally, like, there were comments in hold and people were just like going in on me because they were so upset. Like somebody, like they had a scab and me making that video rubbed against it. That has everything to do with them. But yes. Yes. So, oh, yikes. I hate when folks bang on my door, taking me out of my peace to spread the word. Yeah. Yeah. No me gusta. No me gusta. No me gusta. The best types are transactional jobs that don't require soft skills, reporting, analysts, data analysts. Oh, please share the wealth. Thank you. Thank you for sharing this. We are hitting the hard topics and studying the book of Acts. That was the most recent Bible study on video on Acts 3. Yes. And I appreciate you sharing that video too, because I'm just like, yes. Because I have always felt cringy going out, doing the street evangelism. I never liked that. For some, it felt cringy. It felt forced. And then it's like we're trying to lead people to Christ, but then like we don't talk to them ever again. You know what I'm saying? It just felt, I don't know. I didn't like it. Either way. Again, love yourself at every stage, at every level, at every educational background, every pay grade. Because at the end of the day, like the world knows that you're valuable. The world knows that you're valuable, right? But you have to know that you're valuable. The world knows that you're valuable. They just use your energy and your value to benefit them. But they don't want you to benefit yourself, which goes back to that conversation about Black women loving themselves. Or this idea of Black women being masculine or whatever. Like, the thing is, Black women are passionate. And because you can't understand that, you simplify it to them being masculine, right? But you love our passion when we're fighting for the community. You love our passion when we're fighting for Black men. You love our passion when we're fighting for everybody else except ourselves. What's the issue? What's the problem? We gave you all the energy. We gave you all the support. Why can't we then give that love to ourselves? What's the, like, really, you don't have to answer. But for those triggered, ask yourself why you're triggered. Why is it a problem? So anyway, all right. Does Black excellence include inmates and convicted felons? Ooh, this is a layered conversation. Depending on your own definition of Black excellence, maybe not. For me, there are levels. I'm gonna just be honest. There are levels to people who have been incarcerated based on what the things that they did. I'm just be honest. And that's just my own biases, right? Like, because I'm human. If you tell me you went to jail for like possession of weed, I don't care. You know, because there are white people making money off of weed right now. But if we are talking about taking someone's life, I'm trying to say it in ways that YouTube won't flag it. Before heinous things, and obviously heinous is subjective to whoever's judging it, but that's different for me. That's like, no, you're a harmful person. Like, and it's not even about Black excellence. It's literally just about like common decency. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how I feel. But I also believe that a lot of people have been convicted for things that to me aren't that serious. I'm just being honest, because it's not profitable. But then when it's profitable, then it's fine. And so People do what they have to do. When you put a person in poverty, they gonna do what they have to do, good or bad. You know what I'm saying? And not saying that, not giving them an excuse. Not giving them an excuse. Yeah. No. Not giving them an excuse, but it's like, if you put people in impoverished positions, people are going to do what they have to do. They've been harvesting our labor. Yep. Melanin, love, culture, and our souls for a long time. We have to be honest that we lost the psychological war with the enemy and must regroup. Absolutely. 100%. 100%. All right, let's see. Ooh. All right. So, yes. So understand that you need to love yourself because the world values you. They value what you can do for them. Let me be clear. They value what you can do for them. They see the value in you. They don't want you to see the value in you, right? So again, with Black Sense or, poverty being gentrified or the dancing or all these different things, the nails, all the things they criticize Black women for, the hair, the dress, the sound, the culture itself, right? Like they criticize it on you, but then they want to put it on. But they want to put it on when it's convenient for them because it's trendy, right? You're not a trend. Like, you are sacred. You are a sacred being. You are inherently sacred and valuable being. You are not a trend. So even when the trend changes, like Kim Kardashian out here reverting back to herself, right? I don't want your worth and your love to change for yourself. Because you're worthy of love. You're deserving of that. Okay? Yes, get those I am statements ready. Absolutely. I am valuable. I am beautiful. I am amazing. I am lovely. I am a work of art. Like, these are inherent truths. These truths do not change. I am valuable. I am worthy of love and respect. No matter what's in my bank account. No matter if I'm in a tent on a corner. You know what I'm saying? Like, period. I am amazing. I am sacred. I am worthy of being defended. I am worthy of being loved wholeheartedly. Like, yes. Okay. All right. Yes. Yes, please. Share the wealth, y'all. Subscribe to Peeps. Okay. All right. So all that to say, love yourself. Love yourself, love others. I have no really fancy way to wrap this up. But I'm glad that you all came to hang out with me for a little bit. Actually, a lot of it is 3 hours. I told my mom, whatever. I'm sorry, mommy. I'm sorry. But yes, we have been talking. I appreciate the conversations. I will go back and read all the comments. I wasn't able to keep up with everything. But for the most part, I appreciate you all being here. Shout out to the trolls. Shout out to the people showing love. Oh, hey, welcome. Connecticut. Happy that you're here. Yes, Discord is a way to create private. Yeah, so I have a Discord if you all want to join. I'll share it on my community tab again. I haven't really been active because a lot has been going on. COVID, death, busyness, things. But I'm really grateful for you all. So thank you all for spending your evening with me. Shout out to y'all on the East Coast. I know it's late. Y'all got to work tomorrow. I feel you, or go to school. Yay, Wingwell 500. Thank you for being here. It's always awesome having you here. Deanne says, this was good though. Oh, yay. Wonderful. Thank you for going long. So those of us who didn't know had time to get here. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate y'all. Your time and your energy is valuable and sacred, right? So you showing up here means a lot to me. All right. So, oh, yay. I'm glad. You're welcome, y'all. All right. Love yourselves. Love each other. I love y'all. I see y'all. And I will talk to you all in the next video. Okay. Bye, everybody. Have a good evening. Yay.